Welcome everyone. Welcome to the 20th, 20th, right? 20th edition of the Home Theater Hub. What's going on, Ike? How are you, sir?
You don't even want to know. But as you can see, I am on my phone, so it's been an interesting evening, and you get the opportunity to run the 20th edition, so the 20th
Yeah,
episode.
you so graciously called me 20 minutes before the show and said, "Hey, by the way, these these people around my neighborhood decided to dig up my internet line." So, those of you
Yeah.
that watched like the 4th or 5th episode, I'm a little bit better now, but I can't promise anything. Right. So, uh, got a little got a little crash course again because Ike usually runs the board behind the scenes and contributes with everything. But I'm gonna do my best. We got Mr. Kanga in the house. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. I've been just excited about stuff since Montreal Audio Fest. I've had a lot of stuff going on, and I'm excited to just have some time off for the holiday and hang out with some friends.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. And I don't know. Do you want to make the announcement that you may be joining a little bit more?
Oh yes, that's. I think that that news rests at about 95% accurate at this point. But I have accepted a job offer for a day shift, which means I will have my afternoons and evenings free after that is solidified, which means I can join in and do a lot more like proper 9 to 5 audiophile stuff during North American hours instead of being awake when Australia's awake.
That will actually be awesome. So we love to show a little bit more. And then, of course, we got Mr. Paul. How are you, sir? Welcome to the party.
Hey, thanks for having me. Better late than never. I literally just got home.
Oh, really?
Well,
Yeah. If you
enough
didn't
time to throw
know,
a few cold ones in a cooler and then sit down.
yeah, if you didn't know uh, or didn't hear, I'm running the board again. So uh, Ike had a mishap. Some people decided that they needed to dig up his internet line somewhere along the way to his house. So, oh, look at
Terrible.
Hey, it's
this.
happened to
We
me
got a full
They
house
they they
coming
they
in.
three
they're, they're
times.
fixing the roads, man. So I can't blame
Yep, need good roads to drive on, that's for sure. So, anyway,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
what's on the agenda for today? We got a guest that I was not here to get introduced to, so apologies for that.
Yeah, no problem. We haven't even gotten to him yet. So, we got
Oh,
Mr. Chris from My Home Theater in the house again. Those of you that did not check out his first episode with us, I believe that was our third show that we did. Chris gave a full theater tour, and I think he's going to give a tour again also with some
Yeah.
very very nice updates. I actually watched your video that you posted today. I guess it was a couple hours ago. So
Yeah.
man, you got that theater looking good, man. I'm jealous.
Well, I tell you guys, if you want to put fabric on the walls, that is the best upgrade. Period. I mean, I don't think I could have done anything to make it sound any better. Amps, speakers, honestly, it's the best it's ever heard. You know what I mean? I mean,
Yeah.
it's really good.
So the
I got
fabric.
to agree with the man.
So is the fabric actually contributing to the acoustic properties?
Yes, absolutely. When I just had the fabric on the front and the velvet, which I'm gonna change out later, just not now. I could, we all do the slap test, the clap test, or whatever, and I could walk to the front near the screen and do the clap test, and it was dead silent. So when I walked to the back of the room where the couch is, there was no fabric on the walls. Even though I had all my sound panels, I could do the clap test, and you could hear, a little ring, a little ting, or whatever you want to call it. But once I put the fabric on the walls, that all went away. It all went away.
Really? That
Yep.
So you didn't stuff anything behind it? You didn't do any
No,
acoustic treatments?
they do make a type of like insulation to put in behind it, but I didn't go that route. I mean, I'd already spent that a lot of money on it, and I could have spent that much more, but I didn't really feel the need for it because I'm still using my acoustic panels. Now, if I would have done away with acoustic panels, I felt that would have been necessary, to put that behind it, because that would be more of a absorption, like an acoustic panel. So I didn't do that.
So Eric is saying that there's an echo. Let's see here. Yeah, we were kind of hearing that echo a little bit. Said Don sounds good.
Yeah, I was testing. I was on mute there that entire time just to make sure it wasn't me myself.
It may be on my end, guys, and I've been over here messing around with my son's stuff, and I can't figure it out. So it may be on my end. This is not my setup yet.
No problem, no problem. We'll try to get through it here. But we got Eric trying to join. Eric, I apologize, but my computer is inferior, which means that I don't have a M1 chip or an M2 chip that allows more than the guests that we have here. So we'll try to get you on a little bit later in the show if somebody decides to drop out or whatever. But I apologize. I'm actually looking at the new Mac Studio. The only reason I haven't bought the Mac Studio yet is because it don't have the M3 chip. So I really want the M3 chip. So I'm tossing back and forth between buying the new MacBook Pro with the M3 chip or the Studio. The thing I like about the Studio is that it's got the 10 gig port automatically built into it. So that way I can utilize my 5 gig internet as much as I have. So and go ahead, Paul, tell me that nothing out there is going to support it anyway, but hey, if I'm hosting these things, at least I'm maximizing 5 gigs of upload, right? So that's just my thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what this supports, to be honest. It's just most companies that serve thousands of people, they'll restrict because, you can only allow, it's like driving down highway, everyone's limited to the width of the standard vehicle. Every now and then you can get special permissions to drive down the road with a wide load, but let's face it, most people are in your average, width car. That way you can have, 5 lanes across. But I don't know what this does, so I cannot answer. Maybe it's, will support, 40,000 people.
Right, right. Yeah. No, I mean, hey, it's streaming directly to YouTube, so you never know exactly what it's
Yeah, and honestly, if you really wanted to get nerdy, it's probably using multicast, so it's one stream. That's just literally multicasting the same small bitrate anyway. So
right.
you won't even touch
It does allow
your
you
5 gig.
Right. It does allow you to go up to 4K on this, to stream in 4K. So for each individual camera. But hey, you know what? It is what it is. But yeah, I'm looking into that so that just in case something like this happens, that when Ike, the professional, can't run the board, I can fill in.
I've got the M2 20. Yeah, I've got the 2023 Mac Mini or whatever.
Nice.
Or 20. Yeah, I was like, for the price, you can't beat it. I mean, it's does anything I ever wanted to do.
That's the Mac Mini.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's
I have a Mini M2 also. It's pretty good.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's half the price of the Studio. I can just use the Thunderbolt port if I got that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and since I have a NAS, I didn't need any hard drive space. So, and that they really get you on that hard drive space, man. That's like, they're charging K-scape prices for their hard
Yeah.
drives. I'm like, wait,
Yeah.
what?
Memory and hard drive space is
Yeah, they add them
expensive. You
together.
can't get it really upgraded because it's built
Yeah,
in.
neither of which double the price of the device. But boy,
Yeah.
yeah. It's like, oh, you want more than 16 gigs? Oh yeah, that's an extra $2,000 because it comes
built
with
in.
a terabyte of data. And I'm like, what? Like, oh man, that's not that's SSDs aren't even that expensive anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. That's Apple for you.
Yeah, but hey, when it works, it works.
Mhm.
Right.
So
I
I
can't knock it for that. That's true.
just good enough to handle my ignorance.
So it looks like Ike fell off there. He was let me try to get this fixed. He's having issues with the internet and everything else like that. So
Man, you should just prevent Ike from coming back and have Eric come on.
I'm sure he wouldn't mind.
Sorry,
sitting in
man,
the
I'm
green
full.
room. He wouldn't mind sitting in the green room.
You
He told me
lose.
he was going to remain muted most of the time anyway, just because of his internet. So, Eric, if you want to join, go ahead and call back in. I'll just keep Ike in the green room. Call back in, brother. So,
Can you introduce audio from the green room?
I think he can hear
Can
it.
he join
but I don't think
audio-wise?
he can talk though.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. So, Symphonic, what's going on, man? What you got going on?
I'm still, like I said, I'm still buzzing about the whole Montreal Audio Fest, which is the most recent thing. And now that that's completed, all the photos are online, the videos have been sent out, photography was sent to the magazines. I've been in touch with a lot of reps, and media stuff is coming up now. I've gotten like 20 emails about Expona because I'm going to Expona as well to cover a lot of that, shoot some photography, meet with some more companies and brands, and just rolling through it. That's 3 audio shows in 3 months. So a lot of fun.
Yeah, you've definitely been busy with that. I've
Yeah.
seen a lot of pictures, that you've put together and everything else. It's you're doing some really really nice work. Give some people some links to where they can see some of your work.
I can put one of my. I wouldn't mind screen sharing my favorite shot. That might be possible. I have one shot in particular of the show that I'm going to be the only one with this shot because I was in room and got an exclusive offer for them to like shift and move stuff around, and we changed some things. So I'm the only one that has this shot.
Go ahead and put it up, man. Let me see if I
Let
can.
me just find it.
thing.
It is in my albums that are on Facebook page, the same profile name that you see on screen. Let me see which folder it's in. I have 3 folders, something like 400 pictures, which is typical. This one, is it this folder? So I lose track of where it is because of how many shots I've actually taken. So, I have to share it in Chrome, don't I? This one.
Yeah, this is a Chrome.
Yep.
Chrome thingy here. So.
I forgot that I use Brave for my browsing because I feel safer doing it that way.
You feel braver using Brave. How ironic.
Yes.
So while he's trying to do that, what you got going on over there, Paul? Anything new?
Well, I'm excited that the Michael's M-Wave is gonna officially have the SVS speakers.
Yes.
That I want to check out, and
that's one thing I want to get into a little bit later.
Let's be honest, I'm pretty frugal. After hearing them, I may just buy all the outlet store previous models. It's like if I don't hear the price difference, I'm gonna be like, yep, I'll get the old ones at a great discount. Because the company is great.
I don't know for the looks factor alone.
Yeah,
go for the new ones.
Yes,
your speakers aren't hidden. So
yeah, and you're right. That's a big factor. That's a huge factor in my space.
Yeah, because like I said, your speakers aren't hidden. Were you able to find that and share it?
Yeah, I got something here. I'm going to share a window, which is my preview window. I'm going to start with something a little bit different. This is going to be a treat for everyone on stream as well, because the show got really busy. There's a lot of people there to see, and I just want to share this moment that we were able to capture while we're at the show, and then I'll scroll down to the photo I was talking about. It's pretty much a lot of the YouTube personalities are able to meet up at a lot of these shows now, and we're familiar because we're in the media space and we're all connected basically because of YouTube and other media outlets, so that in any opportunities that we have to hang out or collaborate or share thoughts or give ideas on which rooms or have our that kind of thing, then we try to meet up. And in this one particular moment, I was able to meet up with a few of the guys in the hallway and got our photos taken for media sake. So I wanted to share that photo. It was a pretty interesting opportunity and moment for everyone.
I'm trying to bring it in here. Let's see here.
Oh, the asset's not showing. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Give the moderator a little slack today.
Yep.
It says a sign, but I don't see what
I did give him a hard time on the first time because I was like, dude, I can't even join. And
Yeah, it's worth the wait. I promise. I won't spend a lot of time on it. I'll go through a couple of shots and then that's it. I don't need to showcase everything. It's all basically on all my socials anyways. So if people are curious, they can just go and have a look later.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out. I'll figure that out in a second. Try it because I can do it behind the scenes here. But
Yep, no worries.
Chris, let's talk about what you got going on in your theater. You're the guest of honor here. So
All right.
I know that you've been doing a lot since our episode 3. That was 17 weeks ago. So give us a little background about what you've been doing over there in the My Home Theater. By the way, if you guys haven't subscribed to Chris's channel, please check him out on YouTube. It's My Home Theater, and I've mentioned this before. He's got some really. He's built 2 theaters in the time that I built one. So,
Well,
really cool build.
it's very unfortunate that I had to build the second one, but that's life happens, so you have to do what you got to do. Since I've been on here before, I mean, the biggest thing was just getting the fabric on the walls, and that was a lot bigger task than I thought it was going to be. If anybody wants to put them on the walls, I support it, do it. I mean, it's worth the money, but it ain't easy, as I found out. The fabric, the DMD fabric, is a lot easier than the velvet. The velvet don't stretch, it don't give. It's very hard to put on, but the DMD fabric is very stretchable and it's very easy, and I really like it. But that's kind of the biggest thing. I did add. I finally got those JBL Pro Audio subs out of there, and and they sounded good, but they were just too big, and they were white, so it was kind of an eyesore, even though they were behind the seating position as a near field. But buying the Parks Express, what do they call them? The knockdown boxes or something like that. And then putting the Scar Audio subs in it. I mean, that was a real big deal, and I was real pleased with how that turned out.
So, you were what made you want to change those JBL subs?
Probably aesthetics more than anything. Those subs, I mean, they really put out, and people said, people say a lot of things. They said you can't use car audio subs, and I know different because I know people that has car audio subs in home theater. Then they say you can't use pro audio because they don't go deep. Well, they do go deep. I mean, they might not go as deep as a Captivator or something like that, but I mean, they do perform well. And especially in a near field. I mean, if you're going to have them up front in your front stage area, they may not perform as good as some other subs do. But basically, I wanted to I wanted to move them out just because of aesthetics. They were too big. They were white. I mean, I could have painted them. So I wanted to build some subs. And I looked around to buy some, but I mean, for what I got in what I've built, you can't beat it. You know, around $400 per sub for 18-inch with the feet that I put on it that look like the SVS sound path, but they're not. It's a different name brand. I found them on Amazon. And I don't have the sound path. I would like to compare them, so I may buy a set just to compare. But to save, look, I try to save $1 here or there, and I saved a little bit of money on those, and I feel like they are performing good. But you know, I'm into those subs for around $400. You know, I mean, it's hard to find an 18-inch sub that's going to perform that good for $400. I had a guy come over, and I mentioned this in my video. So for those that hadn't seen the video, and he wanted to see the upgrades in my theater. He follows me on Facebook. He's local. He lives in town here, and I started playing the race scene on Ready Player One because that's my go-to to start with. And he asked me, he said, "Do you have butt kickers?" I was like, "No." He said, "It feels like it." I said, "I know." I mean, that's how deep those subs perform. I mean, they dig deep, and it's tactile, and it feels like you have. Did I have butt kickers in my couch? And I don't. So I'm pleased with it.
They're pretty much near field, correct? But just off
They
to
are.
the sides?
Well, they're off to the side. They're not right up at the couch, but they're behind the couch. So I'm getting just as much. Well, probably not just as much, but I'm getting tactile just like they were if they were behind the couch. And I am planning later to actually build some to put, behind the couch. I mean, they're not far off. My room's not that wide. The couch almost goes from wall to wall. So there's not much room around each side. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's very close. And then I finally upgraded. I was using the Rockville amp to run my front wides, and I bought the Monolith 2100X, and I think it's a cheaper sub. I wanted it's the 2X. Yeah, the 2X, the 200 watts a channel. $1,300 versus $300 for this amp at 100 watts a channel. I mean, and it aesthetically it looks just like the other amp, and it sounds just as good. Front wides are not on a lot of times when you're watching movies, just certain movies. I mean, I can pick out some movies that they're on just about 99% of the time. And if anybody has ever seen the last voyage of the Demeter, it's kind of the Bram Stoker's Dracula or whatever. The front wides are on just about the whole movie. And
is there a setting on the processor or receiver that can use those as an upmix for front to like side surrounds?
I don't think there is on the Anthem. Now, sometimes on Neural X, I hear them some, but not as much as like an Atmos setting that is encoded for that. It has to be encoded. There's some movies I've watched, and I'm like, man, they got to be something coming out of these speakers, and there's not. It has to be encoded, I guess.
Gotcha.
But it's still, if your processor can do a 9-channel floor speaker, I mean, I highly recommend it. Because when they come on, they make a difference. They really do.
So what did you wind up using for your wides?
It's funny. I'm using some Polk Audio FXI A4s, which is the, they have the, it's the wedge style type side surround. And so I mounted it on the wall, about halfway in between the seating position and the screen. So in listening position, the speaker is firing directly toward listening position. So I'm getting, direct sound from it. So the FXI A4s has a woofer and a tweeter. And then on the opposite side, it has just a tweeter and a port. So I have the woofer and the tweeter firing right towards the listening position. And I think I have it in, I don't know what I got it in. It's either in dipole or bipole because it has a switch on the back for either one. and it works absolutely perfect. I even bought some in-wall 265 RT, just like I have in as my rear and back surrounds. But I would have had to cut a hole in the wall. I would have had to angle them a certain way to kind of get them. But when I hung these on the wall, I said, I mean, they're perfect, and they are performing very well. And I know that seems weird to use a side surround as a front wide, but in my listening position, it's perfect. Perfect.
Yeah, I mean, hey, with them being angled like that, they actually work really well. They like you said, they point right to the main listening position, right?
Yes, sir.
So,
Yep.
um, excuse me, so I guess, and I'm sorry if you did say this because I was trying to run the board here. What did you did you disconnect the back portion of that speaker or no?
I did not, and I've had some people ask me about that, but I mean, sound actually comes out both sides of it. Uh, the main part of the sound comes out the part that has the woofer and the mid range and the tweeter. So I did not disengage the backside. I left it on. I guess it will be like if you had Definitive Technology speakers. Definitive Technology is bipole speaker. So if I had it in bipole position, then the sound would be coming out both sides, just like it was if you had bipole front towers.
Right.
I guess that's what I guess that's my thinking on it.
Yeah, you're exactly right. That's exactly what I have. Actually, the DefTech bipole sitting next to me, and that hit me exactly when you said that. And
Yep.
I've actually had similar comments of with the bar in the back and the front row. It hits both of them. I know they don't recommend it once you get out Atmos, but man, I got lots of compliments from the Dallas Theater Room group when they came in and heard that. So I'm appreciating that, brother.
Yeah. See, now I was using those in my side surrounds. And actually, I had the FXI 4s in my side and my back surrounds. And then I went to RTI A1s, which was a direct radiating, and they hung off the walls so much, and my theater's narrow. Then that's when I went with the in walls. I'm not the biggest fan of the in walls. I don't know why. I know they make some manufacturers make some tremendous in walls, but I took a chance on these 265 RTs, and I am not disappointed as far as my side and back surrounds. So then, just out of giggles, I took that Polk, the FXI4, and hung it on the front. And then the more I got looking, I was like, this has got to work good for a front wide. And I'm telling you, it works. It's tremendous. It really is. I like it.
Yeah, I was wondering about that if you were like maybe getting some reflections off the screen or something like that, since it was kind of shooting back towards the screen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Now, I never thought about it reflecting off the screen. I guess it could, but I haven't noticed anything.
yeah, yeah. I was curious. I mean, hey, like everyone that like Eric said, you know, um, he's running those, and I know a lot of people that use those. I was actually looking at the Martin Logan FX series that has the bipole like that. Also, prior to me just going individual. By the way, welcome to the show, Eric. Thanks for joining. Sorry, my cheap computer couldn't allow you to join earlier.
You're good, brother. I was over here like, you need to get a PC with the RTX 3060 sub. But I'm a Mac hater at the same time. So.
Oh, you're a Mac hater? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Ecamm runs.
Well, then
off
his
of
opinion doesn't count. Yes,
No,
that would
I'm over
work
here. I'm over here
overkill.
with an MSI. I actually use a laptop, but it's an MSI gaming laptop. It's got some stupid RTX video card in it. But I hear you, Don. I'm a Mac hater, but man, get a new Mac, bro.
Yeah, I mean, it's 2019. For what I do, it really functions well. I don't need, up until this point, I really didn't need anything else. I think that this computer is actually capable of running multiple streams, like this. But you know, I was, and this is kind of weird because I was on somebody's pod, not pod, but Patreon yesterday, and it was a private, Patreon chat, and somebody brought up an app for Kaleidoscape that's out. It's actually published by Kaleidoscape, and I think it's called like Screen One or something like that. And
Where's your
I
drink,
couldn't
Don?
even find it on my
You
Apple
can't say
Store.
that word without drinking.
I couldn't even find it on the Apple Store, and I was like, "What is going on?" Right? And then we got to reading into it, and it says, "Oh, you must have an M1 processor." I'm like, "To do what? All you're doing is thumbing through thumbnails." So that's all part of Apple's game, right? To make you upgrade to be able to get to all the apps and everything else like that, right?
Mine lasted. I have a 2016 Mac Pro, and I literally just got the 2023 M2 just because some software wouldn't work anymore after I updated. And I was like, God dang it!
I think the internet's just decided we're going to give Don a hard time tonight. I'd love to get back to our guest though. I'd love to hear more about the equipment. I'd love to
Just
hear
before we get back to that, I do want to comment on his slowness of making his theater. My buddy Miguel has passed everything. They bricked, roofed, electrical, plumbing, AC, all passed. They're basically going to start finishing and then have to do a final inspection and then the CO. So they are cooking. So you better hurry up.
Well, I can tell you that I'm going to cheat too. So I have a drywall guy coming at my house at 7 o'clock tomorrow to give me a price to finish it. So
Nice.
I just cannot find the time to actually get to it. And
Yep.
I'm to the point to where it's like, all right, I just need to get this room functionable, right? So I can watch a movie, even if it's slap echoing all over the place. I just want to watch a movie, right? So, but
Fair
yeah,
enough.
no,
Yep.
so
Brother, drywall is not fun. I
No,
don't even know
it's
why
not.
you tried to start that.
it's
You
not
just-
that I don't look. I enjoy doing it. I don't mind doing the work, right? It's just the fact that I got a 4-year-old running around the house. I'm helping with my wife's business. I have a separate business, and I work for another company. So it's like, it's constant all the time, right? And then I don't want to, like last weekend, my son starts spring break, and it's like, hey, let's do this, let's do that. And I don't want to take time from his spring break, you know what I mean, for me to build my theater. And then obviously I don't want to take time from my wife because she was off also. And, it's just tough to balance, right? So trying to find the time. Also, I'm trying to do some more reviews on YouTube. I got the Arvolution AK, the Player One 8K in. So just trying to balance, right? Just trying to balance the life. But so I finally broke down. One of my friends that helped me hang the ceiling, he said, "Hey man, I got some neighbors that moved in, and they do drywall. I'm gonna send them your way." So they're supposed to show up tomorrow at 7 o'clock to talk about pricing. So now, granted, I would consider myself being almost 1/3 of the way done. Actually, because I did the ceiling, I'm probably halfway done. So it's going to be tough for me to part with a lot of money if they say it's a lot of money. You know what I mean? So, and
Yeah, fair enough. Yep. I mean, hanging the drywall is the hard part. I
Yeah.
mean, but I was the guy on the stilts because I always had the pretty good balance. So
I'm
And
telling
yeah,
you,
when-
drywall
hurt.
hangers like $30 a day at Home Depot.
yeah, Chris, you did all your own work too, right? You hung
Oh,
everything.
yes. Now my first theater was it was a monster. It started out 27 foot long, 15 and a half foot wide with 10 and a half foot ceilings. And I did everything except the carpet. I did all the electrical, the speakers. I mean, I did everything, and the drywall was a nightmare. I had to get some people. I had to get some people to. I had to get some people to help me hang the ceiling, of course. But once I hung the ceiling, I did the walls by myself. I did all the sanding, the mudding. Oh my god,
It's
it
a
was a nightmare.
2-person job minimum. You get 2 people in there that are willing to work, you can flow through some drywall quickly.
Yeah,
But yeah, if you're trying to do it up by yourself, oh man, you glutton for punishment. Like
yeah, I hated it, and I did my current room. I did the drywall in it, and I'm not looking forward to doing it again. But I'm probably going to sell this house in the next 6-7 years to get my retirement home. I'm trying to retire early, and once I do that, I'm building my final theater. That's going to carry me on out, hopefully, maybe.
Good luck, brother. That'd be awesome, man.
Yeah. So, yeah, if you guys haven't watched, like I said, if you haven't watched My Home Theater YouTube channel, go back and look at some of his older videos that he did. I mean, he cranked through these theaters. I don't know.
Oh my God!
I don't know what you were doing and what.
Well, the first theater was built during COVID, so a lot of time off work. I think there was 3 weeks that I didn't work. That they shut the plant down. I mean, to do what they needed to do, clean the plant, whatever. So I think I built that theater, except the carpet, in 5 weeks. I'm talking about taking windows out.
5 weeks. Oh my gosh! Wow.
I'm talking about framing, running electrical. I have a build video on my early videos, and it has timestamps that shows everything. I still don't know how I did it. And this current theater wouldn't even as much work, and I still did it in like 4 or 5 weeks.
You could start your theater next week and still beat Don.
You know what? I'm just going to hire Chris. I'm going to fly him down. That's who I'm going to hire, right? That guy
That's
works
hilarious.
like crazy, man.
So funny.
Yeah. No, I mean, look, it's definitely, like I said, it's definitely hard for me to find the time.
I'm starting to wonder if you're afraid to finish it because you have all this amazing gear, and it's like, are you afraid you're going to get judged if it doesn't sound like perfect because you have all this high-end gear?
I'm gonna steal shamelessly, since youth man's in this chat here. I'm gonna steal shamelessly from Ryan. Hashtag hope it doesn't suck, right? So
hey, fair enough. We all hope that, but it's like, oh man, yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, though, like the most fun that I had was digging in with the build montage crew and figuring things out and learning and trial and error. Once it was done, I'm like, am I just watching movies now? Like I wanted it to go. Like, I love movies. I'm a movie buff. Don't get me wrong, but I love that build process, man. It was amazing. And that's I think that's why we keep upgrading, and there's the saying in the community of it's never done, because
Never done.
yeah, because once you're finished, you're like, no, this isn't finished. We're gonna find the next thing. We got to keep going. This was a party.
Well, once you get it sounding good and you do sound treatment and stuff like that, then and different people start differently. Some people do all aesthetics first, and then they go. And honestly, that's what I did in one of my theaters back in Indiana, like one of my first mini. I hid everything. Like, you didn't even know I had a sound system until it turned on, and then you were like, what? But now I'm just Yeah, a little bit opposite, and I'm trying to do the LED lighting thing, and just the barcade, and just make it more of a party atmosphere, or like, hey, everybody's here just to chill out and have a good time type of
Yeah,
deal.
I even
I
went
heard I
one
could
up.
help you with the LEDs. I could help you with the LEDs right here. You just let me know.
Yeah, I even
Oh, I've
went
got
one
Sorry,
up
Don.
on that. I actually went to there's an acoustic. It's called, I forgot what it's called, place is called, but it's in Boca Raton, and they install fabric walls and they install star ceilings and all kind of stuff like that. So I actually paid them a visit uh, Thursday, Thursday or Friday. Yeah, Wednesday. So yesterday. Today's Thursday. But yeah, I paid them a visit yesterday just to get some ideas. I'm gonna send them some dimensions to see, you know, how much it would cost. And speaking of how much it would cost, Chris, if you wouldn't mind, I know you shared on your video, so I'm going to put you on the spot here.
Okay.
You actually fabric walled what, about 90% of your theater, and then you use velour or velvet in the front portion.
Yes, and I'm definitely going to change that out. But yeah, I like the DMD fabric. Just, I mean, it looks good. Um, honestly, I probably wouldn't change the velvet out in the front. But if you look at some of my videos, and somebody mentioned this, and I was kept waiting on somebody to mention it. When I put the left side up, because I put the right side up first, put the left side up, I said, "Why is it gray and the other one black?" And I kept looking, and then I realized I put it upside down.
Yeah, it's directional.
And I am not taking it down and putting it back up. If I take it down, I'm putting DMD fabric up. So I will be changing it to DMD fabric.
Yeah, you mentioned that in
But
the video, and I was surprised. I was like, really? I didn't know that this would be like that. Like it.
yes, the piles run in one direction. So when you flip it over, it turns gray, and the other direction is black. Now I was not paying attention. I wasn't paying attention to details until I got done, and I'm sitting there scratching my head. And I'm like, why is it gray? It's the same fabric. And it didn't take me just a few minutes to figure out what I did wrong. But
That's whenever I was looking to build my masking panels, right? And the difference between $12, $14, and $30 a yard.
yeah,
Exactly that. Like some of them, it's like I picked up the 14. I was like, oh man, that looks great. Until Jessica showed me this. I was like, oh, check this out. And I was like, oh Jesus, this literally looks gray now compared to this. But this was 30, and the $30 one was the one that was shaved close enough to where it didn't matter upside down or
You
right.
didn't know
It was
you
black
had
on black.
LAR.
But it was wild comparing them. It was like, oh my God. I'm like, $30 a yard? I need like 8 yards. No, I'm gonna hold out. I'm gonna figure something else out. I'm too cheap for
You didn't
that.
know that you had an LAR fabric, did you? Right?
Yeah.
Now, masking is something that I have considered doing, but I'm not sure exactly how to do it. I haven't researched it that much, but that's something that I'd like to do because I have a 16:9 screen.
Yeah,
And,
my idea is to use, that pink garage foam. I'm just going to take a couple of those, mount some magnets in the middle, and then maybe on the outside, and then just cover it with, velvet fabric or some sort of light absorbing. Then they just stick together, and then magnet on the wall, super light.
Right.
So MFK Home Theater, we're gonna have to fight over whose house Chris's comes to.
Yeah, him and his brother came by, man. It was awesome having him here, man. I enjoyed that a lot. But I do signs, or I used to. I still have my sign equipment, and I thought about using some kind of substrates, what we call substrates, sign equipment, sign material, whether it be aluminum, composite, or some kind of plastic to wrap and put up there. But I haven't got past the thinking period of it yet. But that was something I was thinking about doing. I
with that,
feel
you
like
could do like
I feel it would be awesome to have that,
Yeah, you could do your aluminum substrates and then do probably just do like a really, really micro thin plexiglass and paint.
Yeah, I thought about that. Yeah.
if I
Yeah,
could,
if
so
you do
in the
signs, you'll know how to do and make that look really good.
Yeah. Yeah.
so lots and lots of people. We've had these conversations on the Build Montage channel. Again, I'm dropping names. Sorry, Don,
No,
but
it's all good, man.
there's been a lot of people that have done the masking, and we've gone through different materials, and we're talking about people all over the world. You know, Build Montage, he's from Australia, so
Oh yeah, I
we're
love Tony.
dealing with.
Tony's my buddy, man. I love Tony James.
Yeah, Tony's a badass. I'm an admin
Yes,
over there. That's
he
why
is.
I'm dropping names. But so we're dealing with different materials. U.S. A lot of U.S. A lot of Europe, and then we go to Australia, obviously. And what a lot of people have found works really well is to get sheets of styrofoam that are thick, because we're not working with acoustic treatment at this point, right? So going back to the pink foam, right? We don't need to deal with acoustic treatment. We need something that's going to be strong enough to hold up, but at the same time be light enough to stick to your screen, right? And so
Right.
what tends to work really well for folks is they do about a half an inch of, or maybe a little bit more of styrofoam, put some very thin strips of wood behind them, like one towards the top, one towards the bottom. The magnet's hooked up to those wood strips, and then you wrap it in velvet facing the right way. And then all you have to do is either hot glue it, staple it to the woods, and you're to the wood rather, and you're good to go. And you just stick it right on, and
Yeah.
it works.
That's
Yep.
why I like the styrofoam, the garage foam, because it's a couple inches thick, so you won't even have to do any wood. It's literally you just take hot wire and cut it, or a knife. I mean, you don't have to do anything to it. The hardest part about that would be using magnets that are powerful enough to hold together in the center without actually pulling out. But if you put them behind the fabric and glue it down pretty well, or maybe put a little piece of paper or cardboard that'll hold them, inside the foam, because that foam it's for a 16-foot wide garage, and they hold inside a garage door. So that stuff is really strong. I mean, you have to punch it to break it. You have to want to put a hole in it to break it. It's not something that's why that is, and it's super cheap, and it's at every Home Depot and Lowe's that exists. So I'm for the easiest and simplest. It's like if I can just take a knife versus cutting down lumber and gluing, and then I'm like, I'll just take a knife and boop, knife, spray glue, and cut some fabric. Done. But the sign idea. If you're into that type of work, what's easy for you, it's different. So
Lots
Yeah.
of good options for sure. Lots of good options.
Yeah, when I went to that acoustic store, they built their star ceiling like in panels. Thank you for joining VTV. Appreciate you. Um, but yeah, they had like a little transformer built in. It was kind of for each individual panel on the back of it, and then they ran the strands. So each panel had their own little circuit board, and it had the individual strands. I think I think that portion's a little bit out of my budget. I'll probably have to do that star ceiling myself because it
Well,
was.
I bought a star ceiling probably over a year ago, and I think I drilled 2 holes in the ceiling and poked 2 strands, and it was up there up till about 2 months ago, and I pulled it down. I mean, it was absolutely too much work because I was going to actually get in the attic space, which is not very big, drill holes, poke them down. That was too much work. So I decided I wouldn't go. I started to do it in panels like you're talking about, Don, and then sticking the whole thing up there, and which is how I've seen people do. But the kit that I bought has 2,000 lights, and it has the meteor shower, which would have been really cool. But man, it's just too much work for me.
Yeah, that
So
tends to
somebody's
be the
trying.
It would have
problem
been
with
easier to
those
do it in the panels.
when you go over the overhead like that. we're talking about 2 to 3,000 strands like you found. Some
Yes.
of them even have multiple engines that are running them. And so you end up running into a situation where lots of individual labor to create it and install it, make it look right, configure it, run the engines, or, and Don's going to find out if you haven't gotten pricing yet, it is a lot of money to have somebody do that labor for you. We're talking like in the 5-figure range, unless they've found a better way to do it panel by panel with a single engine. So I'd love to hear about that, Don, when you find out.
Yeah, like I said, they kind of gave me a ballpark figure. I'm not going to put it out there, but it was definitely two. I got 380 square feet, I think, because my room is is it, let's see, I got a 2 foot in, 2 foot in, so it's like 16 wide by 21 and a half. So
Oh wow.
if I want to star ceiling the whole entire thing,
Mm.
it's like 300 and some feet, square feet. So 16 by 21.5, yeah, 344 square feet, and I can tell you it was
Five,
double
five
digits.
figures. Yeah.
5 figures. Yeah, exactly. So I think that's a little bit out of my price range. I've watched a couple people do it on YouTube, and look, I know they say it's a MFer, right? They say it's not. They say it's not a good, not an easy thing to do, right? So that'll be the last thing that I do. I have an idea of how I may do it. I'm thinking about maybe just some quarter-inch hat channel and magnets and panels. Just build it in panels, just like I was saying earlier. If I can build them in like a maybe a 2x4 panel and just put them in, and hopefully you don't see the gaps in them, then I might be
That's
all right.
that's
I think
something how Tony did his. Tony James did his in panels with magnets.
Mm-hmm.
I watched a video where he did his like that, and I
Did
mean
you
that's
watch the
great.
one where it fell too?
the thing
Yeah, I
yeah, it
saw.
did fall. Oh gosh, yeah, the fallout on the channel was awesome on that. But I'll,
Yeah,
I'll tell you, the challenge isn't the panels and putting the channels up and keeping the channels from a Tony James type failure. It's more of the individual strands. That's
yeah,
the challenge. And you're talking about again 2 to 3,000 strands. Bring them down, cut them. If you want them to shine perfectly, individually, I'm not even screwing around.
yeah,
Individually, take some sandpaper to each one, rough them up a little bit, so that the lights are a little bit more defined
Diffuse.
throughout the room. You're
mm,
talking, so it goes back to a lot of what we have all found in home theater. And if you're new to home theater, welcome. You're either going to spend lots and lots of hours putting your room together, or you're going to spend lots of money, because there's no other.
Yeah.
It's either lots of hours of labor or it's lots of money, and that's
Right.
the hobby, you know. But
Yeah.
there is
Yeah.
entry
No.
level. Wait. Let me say there is entry level. there is entry level, and get in there, love it, and then spend lots of hours or money, or a combination. I'm a combination, right? And I think a lot of us are. I spent money to have my drywall put up because Don, you're crazy, and I had people do the finishing work, and I had people do the patching and whatnot, and the baseboards and the crown molding. But I program my home assistant that automates everything in my room, my lighting. I hit play, everything turns off. I hit stop, everything turns back on. So it's a combination of things, right? But anyways, I'm rambling now, so
Oh,
I'll
you're
shut up.
good,
But
man. Appreciate the insight. No, look, in my consultation with them, they were talking about, oh, well, if you want to do a certain constellation or whatever, I mean, they would literally map it out for you and everything else. I watched a video of someone a while ago that actually, he said that he did his star ceiling, I guess the same pattern as like his wedding night or the night he met his
Oh
wife or
wow.
something like that.
wow, that's
yep,
And
yep.
yeah, that's pretty intricate there. So
Yeah, I don't know if it's the same guy, but there's a gentleman in the build montage Discord that literally did that. He ordered the sky in his part of the world the day that he got married, and he recreated it. It was over 3,000 threads of fiber optic, and he
Mm-mm.
recreated it.
Nope.
And here's the best part. His wife came and saw the room, and she's like, "That's cool." This dude spent 1,000 hours. That's cool. I know my wife would do that. This is my romantic gesture. Yeah, that's cool. Good job. That's awesome. Room's real pretty.
So what happens to the ceiling? Like the same thing that happens to tattoos after things go south? What do you do with the ceiling? Rearrange it?
Yeah, that's true. I need a
Oh
cover up.
man.
So that's what happened in my
I'm gonna
deal.
say no to both ends of that one. Sorry.
Oh, we're wilding tonight. Oh my gosh, that's
funny.
hilarious.
Can I get a cover up ceiling, please?
You just run around and put some Sharpie black marker on some of them and be like, okay, it's different enough.
Oh
Oh,
man.
so funny.
So Eric, what you got going on over there in your theater? What have you been doing over there?
Man, I'll tell you, like my midlife crisis hit, and so I've kind of stopped on the theater room because I went out and bought a Corvette C8, dude. I'm that age now. I I hated Corvettes my whole life, and then I was like, all right, well now I'm 45, and the C8s are pretty. And
That's hilarious. You're like, that's an old man supercar.
yeah,
Well,
yeah,
I'm an old man
that's
now,
straight
so
up.
I'm gonna buy a
So
sports car.
so with that said, I still think I would love to hope that Ike is still listening right now so that we can give him all the hard time and say, finish my theater room tour, brother. What do you do with your life? I need 1 hour of your Camrys. We have dozens of hours of video of my room. But anyways, so the most recent thing that I've done is the LEDs that you see here. So I've got Oh yeah, so I've got a controller going on that connects up to my Hue bridge. My Hue bridge connects up to my Home Assistant. All of that is controlled by, and actually all of my lighting. I don't want to gyro my camera and stuff, but I've got overhead lighting. I have wall sconces, all of its Hue, and it's all hooked up through my Home Assistant. That's the all of this bringing all this together is the most recent thing that I completed in my room. So again, and oh, the bigger, cooler part about it is all of my systems watch state in Home Assistant, being that am I playing, am I pausing, am I stopping? So it's not necessarily even remote specific when I hit a button. It's is it playing? Is it paused? Is it stopped? Home Assistant watches all of that for my various devices, and based off of that state, as opposed to hitting a button, it will change the lighting in the room. So that was the latest thing I did. Really geeky. I have a tattoo on my forearm that says geek. So there we go.
Hey man, I mean, we all get into certain things. You mentioned how you're gonna pay. You paid somebody for all your drywall and all that. I'm just gonna pay somebody for the automation. I got the Control 4 system, so.
There you go.
There are certain things that I'm comfortable with doing and certain things that I'm not. Seeing how I finished 3 basements and everything else, I felt comfortable with the drywall. Do I want to do it? No, but
You're not doing it, Don. You're not going to do it.
I'm probably not now. It depends on the price they give me. If they come in and say, "Oh yeah, it's going to be like $5,000 to finish half of a room," well, guess who's finishing the room? It's not going to be them. So,
Right. I finished my room too, so I still feel the pride. I know my limitations.
So Paul, what do you know? How many people are working on Miguel's house over there? Because I need to figure out how many people I need to hire to get caught back up.
Oh, yeah, a lot. Well, so he has an advantage. His dad works in the industry, and he's built multiple houses. So the big advantage that he has is um, he's only had one delay in inspection, and that was actually from the AC person they couldn't call to get it re-inspected. They had fixed it, but they have to actually do the call for themselves because it's their work that's getting inspected. All other inspections, and he's had amazing weather. I mean, so everything's just fallen in line. Like literally that one inspection was probably the biggest delay for him, which was like a 4 or 5 day. And he was like, oh, this is driving me crazy. I'm like, man, normally it's like a couple week delay every other instance of something, you know, but he's had like 1 or 2 day delays for different stuff. But yeah, he knows many people in the trade, just very experienced. The moral of that is if you ever build a house or do anything, have a really good general contractor or contractor that's managing all the trades, foreman or whatever you call them nowadays. I don't even remember what the heck it's called. I've been out of it for so long, but that person that knows all the people to call them, when to schedule them, when to delay.
General contractor.
Yeah. But they're worth their weight in gold. They're basically the project manager, and that's what makes things flow smoothly. And since it's their house and his dad is the general contractor, it's I mean, like I said, I'd be surprised if it takes 6 months for him to build a house from ground up.
Yeah. I mean, that's moving pretty quickly, you know. So.
Yeah, it is. It can be done. That's what people don't realize. I mean, my dad was a construction worker, and you can get a house done in 30 days if you get all your inspections and stuff perfect. I mean, no joke. I mean, it's not going to be like a 3-story or anything like that, but like a 1,200 square foot slab house, you can slam those things. You used to be able to. Now that might not be the case now, but I could see someone getting it done in 60 days, no problem, even today. But
yeah, I mean, you can throw. You know, people throw the sticks up. What? Usually, as soon as they get the foundation done, I call them the sticks, but all the framework and all that stuff, they can usually throw that up pretty quickly. You know, week. You know, and then you can have a roof on. You know, week and a half.
Yep.
Something like that. It's all the interior stuff that takes time. So, Chris, are you able to give us the privilege of giving us a tour at your home theater here while you're getting that set up?
Can you? I need to log in with my phone.
Yeah.
Can you
So
put me in on my phone?
Yeah. What I suggest here, because I'm a novice at this, is just go ahead and hang up on this one, and then call back in with your phone, and hopefully I can get you back in here, and
right.
That way we can give you a tour, get a tour of your home theater here.
All right. Well, I will hang up right now, and I'll see y'all guys in a few minutes.
All right. So let's see if I can publish this, and then.
Oh, you just got rid of 2 people.
No, I gotta bring.
No, that's actually perfect. So I'm gonna step away from a second.
So I got Eric.
Oh man.
It's behind the scenes, in front of the scenes, front lines, behind the lines, all mixed into one show.
I'm trying to do it. You know, I don't know this program very well, like I said. So
yeah,
I'm getting
Ike.
better.
We need you, Ike. You're doing good, Don. I love you.
I'm getting better, man. I'm getting better. So, but let me see if I can do a screen share of your picture there.
Oh yeah.
If you can,
there's a couple that I can scroll through
let's do that while
showcase a little
for
bit.
Chris to call back in.
Yep.
See if we can get that taken care of.
There's 2 things that I do want to show. We'll do the photos, but I also want to showcase something else that I DIY'd for my theater space because I wasn't sure how to do like treatments or panels, and I'm basically known for doing the curtains all the way around my room, which are just blackout curtains hung with command strips. It's cheaper than doing painting, and I'm in a theater, like an apartment, so it's all temporary. So I can't paint the walls color I want. So I essentially just do the curtains everywhere to eliminate the idea of where the openings are or create a room divide. And I've turned it into a rectangle where it's actually an L shaped and my dining room's attached to the room. But looking at the walls, you would never know where anything is. So I just covered it up. But for the ceiling, was that?
Have you tried to share your screen yet?
Oh, sorry, that disappeared. Right. Okay, window, this. Okay, entered back in. My bad. So I ended up doing this instead. And you guys, because we're talking about panels.
Dang.
And
Those are some
this
big panels.
is essentially just pegboard that I have used cloth and wrapped it around. And I used zip ties to hold it down.
Oh, cool.
It's really DIY. So you can see the black zip ties there. Or you did? So
Not
anyways,
anymore.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. I still use the panels. They're just tucked behind the curtains in my my bedroom. So I have 4 of them. They've got on the back, and you can I can basically like either hang them on the wall with hooks, or I can suspend them from the ceiling with string and hooks, or angle them somewhere with wire. Lots of different things. So they cost me about $20 each, and they're 2x4. So 24 by 48 inch. And they're essentially just wrapped with. I went to Walmart and looked at their discount sort of array of stuff. And you sometimes have these like 50 by 60 not rugs, but blankets for your chairs or their fleece or whatever. And they were $5 a piece. So I cut one in half and essentially spent $2.50 on fabric. And I had zip ties around. So the wooden panel pegboard was $12. So under $20 for a 2x4 panel of fabric, and it eliminates all of the high frequencies. What I could have done with the pegboard on top of that is get a drill bit of some dimension, like 1 inch or 1.5 inches or whatever, and drilled every other sort of spacing so it would open the dimensions of the pegboard differently, and then you would get like a frequency differential in those panels. So the fabric would mute the high frequency, but then depending on the spacing, the mid frequency would be affected by essentially the holes that you put in it, like the GIK acoustics type stuff.
Well, that would take some mathematics, though. But also in the U.S., pegboard is what a lot of people use. Going back to the star ceilings, a lot of people use
Right.
star ceilings.
It's what kind of got me thinking to bring it on and show kind of what I did with that stuff.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, the photo. This moment sort of happened. We all happened to be in the hallway at the same time. Thomas was showcasing in Le Studio du Son, which is a French, like Montreal-based shop. They sell XTZ speakers. They had Perlisten there. There's probably a photo in here somewhere of that room. So we all just happened to be in the hallway, and I snapped a shot with these guys. So you've got Jason, audiophile junkie, on the far side, Jay, obviously, myself, and Thomas. This is the SVS room. There's not much to see in this space, but that's the first time that I've ever seen SVS displayed with a distributor or a shop hosting the room rather than SVS themselves hosting the room.
Sorry, dude, I'm just dying at chat right now. He's learning. We're finally sharing, and they're like, "Didn't take as long as his theater build." Sorry, Don. We're just giving you a hard time.
Thanks for that. Thanks
he,
for that.
he knows I only pick on people I like. If I don't like you, I just don't even talk about you.
Dying
That's
over
too
here.
funny. That is too funny. I see what I'm doing here. It's not if I don't have this thing published, it's not allowing me to sign in people. So let me do something here.
Can't share a
Learning
Keep
draft.
going, Kanga. Let me see what. Keep going with your pictures here until I can get Chris. I got Chris in the green room right now too. So.
Oh, that's cool.
You know,
There's
you
a
guys are
number of-
doing good. If I've got tears in my eyes, y'all doing good. So we're good.
Nice. Yeah, there's a couple of really nice systems at this show. I mean, some of them really expensive, some of them were pretty budget. Kanto had a really decent room there. The Epic Cores were there also on AccuPhase gear and esoteric, so super pricey gear in that room. Here's one of my favorite shots, which doesn't show up well on stream because the dimensions are weird.
Yeah, it looks good though.
Yeah, I'm trying to. That's because the angle that I'm shooting with my camera is like it's full frame, so the screen share has to be a certain. Okay, there, I got it. A couple of different shots that I was able to get in that room. My
And these are
favorite shot.
per listens, right?
No.
Oh,
You'd make the same mistake that everybody else makes looking at that checker pattern, right? Is that
right.
how? That's what made you think they were per listen? Yeah. A
But
lot
then
of
I
people
saw
make
that
that
the
mistake.
smaller one with the shape of that smaller speaker. That's obviously different.
Yeah, the taller one they're both the same brand. So the per listens and these and Rockport technologies, neither one of them use the same drivers, even though they all have the checker pattern. So when we see the checker pattern, we think, oh, it's the same, but it isn't. They all make their own sort of recipe in house and stuff like that. So these
So
are actually
the label at the
Boris
bottom
and
is it?
Acoustics.
Sorry, go ahead. I apologize.
Yeah. So these are Boris and Acoustics, and yeah, this is actually one of those exclusive shots. The guys actually put both towers side by side where the room only had the tall ones playing, and I just asked to compare them for a second, so they moved them together.
You said Boris and Acoustics?
Yeah, Boresen, Borresen,
Yeah.
not Borensen. I hear how a lot of people say that, but it's not. It's Boresen.
Nope, I found it. Thank you.
Yeah, those speakers are. I mean, those speakers are awesome. I listened to them, and at what was it? The Tampa Audio
Florida?
Show. So the Florida Audio Show. What's going on?
Yeah,
Tony?
they had the
Thank you.
small ones.
Yeah, those
The shorter ones here.
speakers are just. I mean, absolutely awesome.
Yeah, for their size, because they're a pair of, well, they call them 4.5-inch woofers, but I'm gonna say that 4.5 inches is the diaphragm size, not the basket size. If you want to draw your conclusions from that, that's my assessment of them. So, and they put out an incredible amount of volume and bass and detail with a planar magnetic ribbon, and that's a large cabinet for those two drivers, so you get more bass extension because of the air volume. And they're, like Don said, they're super effective.
I got Ike coaching me in the background. I got trying to run the show. Trying to do it all here. All right. Well, I'm going to try to get Chris back in here. So let's see what we can do here. Try to.
I'm going to end on that one.
The Boris, and they don't give a ton of information on their website about those the speakers, the drivers, the crossover. Like I'm gonna have to do some research. They look really cool though.
Next Level Hi-Fi in Chicagoland area is one of their biggest distributors and retailers. There's a ton of videos on them already. Jay's Audio Lab has done shows at Hi-Fi Audio, and he's done room reviews. There's a bunch of people that have covered them now. I mean, they're making ways, and sure, like maybe the website isn't quite that detailed, but at shows you'll see they have a whole box full of stuff where they show you each part of the driver, the coil, the former, the magnet, the motor structure, the like all that kind of stuff. They'll have all that in a box for you to like look and touch and play around with. So there are details there. I mean, maybe the website's a little bit thin, but there.
Well, they're not messing around. Those the bigger left rights that you had there, LCR, they're 174 pounds each.
Yeah.
That's
The
wild.
X6 models. Yep.
That's wild. Yeah.
And the advantage of going to a tower that size is you'll get more mid bass and texture attack because there's more air volume to move. They'll fill in a larger room.
They were wild for real.
Okay, so I got your phone, so now you can
Okay.
go and I'll put you on full screen.
All right, I'm going now.
Might have to mute one of the streams.
Yeah, just mute
Look,
the
see how
I'll
easily
mute
I
him.
can
I'll mute him.
that?
I'll
Nick
mute him.
says he's controlling
Yeah,
it, but
it'll
he's
be a
really
different
not.
room anyways.
But I've muted him, so that's fine. And then I'll put him on full screen just so we can get a proper good view.
Yeah.
And take all of your ugly faces out.
I love the
He said
carpet.
proper. Oh man.
Y'all hear me now?
We can hear you.
We do, loud
Yes,
and clear.
sir.
Good deal. All right. So let me straighten up my sound panels here where I lifted my screen. So as you can see here, that panel looks dark, and that panel's light. So that's where the piles are. And it's unfortunate that it's like that, but I mean, I'm eventually going to change to, the DMD fabric anyway, so it don't really matter. Now this carpet is not carpet. This is a rug. That's a carpet.
That's a nice thick rug,
That's a
though.
super thick carpet, man, like shag.
Yeah,
Love
it
it.
is. That is one of my future upgrades. I did everything in this room myself. I even did the carpet, and I found this carpet at a closeout store called Ollie's, and it was less than $200. So I mean, I can't complain, but it's just light. So I bought these rugs just to kind of stick over top of it, and it works good. I mean, I don't have anything playing now on here.
Chris,
I guess
I'll tell you, I had carpet laying in the front, side, back. I had runners down my aisle. I did that for years, and it was amazing. So,
right.
No shame, brother. It looks good, and that's some good quality rug right there, brother. It's good quality.
Hey, Amazon for like $60 for I think it's a 10 by 8. I think.
Wow.
Not bad. Yeah, it wasn't bad at all.
Yeah.
Impressive.
So I know we was discussing earlier. This is a Silver Ticket Products screen, acoustic transparent. This is what they call a 7 series. What I used to have was a different series, which had a 4-inch bezel, which was wide, and it was only 128-inch. So I found out that they make this screen in a 7 series at 135 inches, the same width. So, I mean, it was a no-brainer for me to gain 7 inches of viewing area on the same width. Because I mean, I'm constrained, as you guys seen when I lifted the screen earlier. I mean, it's touching the walls just about. I mean, I got a little bit of a gap in here.
Yeah.
But
Chris, what's the width of your room, brother?
It's about a 10 foot 3 inches or so. 18 foot 4 with a 9.5 foot ceiling. So I do have tall ceilings, and that's what's kind of thrown me off when I was buying this fabric. That's why I had to order so much fabric, because it takes, you figure 1 yard. This is 3 yards plus a little bit.
and it just kept messing me up. But as you can see, when I turn the lights off, I mean, there's a look. I mean, the camera's picking up more of this over here, as you can see my finger, and it's more of a glare off of the camera lens than anything. But there's nothing there.
Wow.
I mean, it's
Hey, Chris, Michael said, can you move your camera a little slowly? He's getting dizzy, you know.
I know. I'll try. But yeah, I was able to get my doors done, and I really like, that I did the fabric on the doors. I got that done. So here, now this was discussion earlier about the FXI 4s is the front wides, and as you can see, if I take the let me pull this off. I mean, I'm sitting down in listening position, and I know I saw Michael's comment about this console couch. Yes, the middle don't recline, but when I'm doing movie reviews, as you know, I do movie reviews. I mean, this is the sweet spot. Brandon has it calibrated for all three positions. So I mean, I could sit anywhere and it's going to sound good. But the middle section is always going to be the sweet spot. So it don't matter if it reclines. I wish it did, but I couldn't fit a 3-seat theater chair in here. It wouldn't fit because of, and I know I just panned that fast. Sorry, youth man. The steps there has got me a little bit constrained. As far as being able to do 3 separate reclined seats. So that's why I had to go with the console. I could either go with the console or 2 seats. So I had to make a decision on that. But as you can see, those speakers, they're firing directly to the listening position. And that's why I don't have any issues with using them.
Yeah.
So if you take I got to get the turn back around, right?
Hey, Chris, let me throw out that if you ever decide you want to change out the media center console, because you and I have similar problems. I had that same media center. I ended up doing a love seat style. It was still 3 separate seats. I actually have 4 because my room's a couple of feet wider, but I ended up they can do like a love seat style where 2 seats don't have an armrest in the middle. And then all 3 seats will still be able to recline. You just won't have an armrest in the middle. And you can still actually, you can still actually buy like one that'll drop in there and you can just push it in to have an armrest. But it's something to look at in the future, just to throw it out there. Because I had that same console.
That would be good. That would definitely be good. I mean, I don't have many people out here unless they just come, to check out the theater. It's mostly just me sitting at the end seat over here. But when I'm reviewing, I sit in the middle.
Right. It'd still be nice to have a recliner. So maybe Don or Ike can hook us up contact information. I can send you what I'm talking about. But yeah, you can easily get 3 seats about the same dimensions, and it'll just be a love seat configuration. But it's still, again, basically what they do is like one seat will have a left armrest, no right armrest. The other seat will have a right armrest, no left arm. We can talk about it offline, brother.
And those are Seatcraft, right?
That'd be great.
Chris,
but this
those
was
are Seatcraft seats, right?
Say that again. Seatcraft, yes. Yeah, Seatcraft. And it's good. I've had it for over a year, and it still looks. I mean, it gets a lot of use, and it's holding up well. And it. Now I know Valencia is more popular. So this has the LED lights. It's got the table that comes with it. It's got the moving headrest, and it's got the table. I mean, it's got the table that comes with it. I mean, it's got everything,
Yeah, I legit had the exact same Seatcraft. Now that I know it's Seatcraft, I legit had that same media sofa. It is for the price, amazing.
Yes, for the price.
It is amazing, very comfortable. It held up. I'm a big man. I sit in my room doing conference calls during the day, and so I live in my room. And that Seatcraft it held up to my big butt. Sorry to be crass, but it held up to my big butt for a couple of years before I got rid of it and found that love seat configuration that we were talking about. But
Yeah,
man, it's a beautiful setup, bro.
Yeah, I definitely need to check it out. Now, one thing I want to talk about is I know we were talking about the sub boxes earlier, and y'all couldn't hear me. This is actually the Parts Express box. The what is it called?
Nice.
Knockdown build or something like that. Yeah, and the reason why, I mean, guys, I like being different. That's why I went with Seatcraft rather than Valencia. I could have bought Valencia, but I like doing different stuff. I could have bought GSG boxes.
Yep.
They were about $350 per box per sealed. These were $229. They were $509 shipped to my house for 2 boxes.
Nice. Are there any additional or same internal bracing with those?
It's got the internal bracing. There's a video. If you look at my channel, there's videos in there. So it has the same cross. I say the same. I'm not. I don't have a GSG box to compare it by, but just looking at pictures,
Right.
I mean it's all made the same. It's got the double face plate.
Right.
I don't know if GSG recesses their subwoofers. This is actually, if you can see, the sub is actually recessed in there.
Yeah. So GSG does similar. It's a little deeper than that, but yeah.
Yeah. So it has a cutout for a plate amp, but I put just regular speaker terminals because I'm using the Suntron amp, and got them wired. I got dual 4 ohms, and I have them wired in series. I think that's right, for 8 ohms.
Right.
Yep.
Okay. And they are car audio subs. Someone asked in the chat.
Yes, there are car audio subs. They're actually I want to say they're the entry level. They were only $127 a piece.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
that's a deal.
They're cheap for an 18-inch sub, and as you can see the surround. I mean, they have a pretty decent X Max. I mean, yes, for $70 more, you can buy the stereo integrity subs. I'm sure they're better, but they have similar performance. If you start looking at them, I mean, it's similar. I think the stereo integrity has a more X Max, maybe hold a little bit more power. I don't know. All I know is for $400, that's what I have in them subs with the little feet on them that looks like the SVS SoundPath feet, but they're not.
And you're saying you have 2 of those, right? Or
So
2 of those.
So Chris, have you taken official measurements for those yet in your room?
I haven't yet. I've run tests. I've done some movies. I've done some music, and at listening position and in my theater, but I've done some different things. The PV amp, I finally got it running on a separate 20 amp circuit. So that's pushing more power to the 418s behind the screen, and then adding these 2 subs at listening position. I think with the music and in Ready Player One, I think I was hitting right around 121 decibels, which is a lot for my theater, and that is a lot. And I knew at the cone it was hitting right at 124 or 25 decibels. But that's music and stuff. What I want to do, and I haven't done yet, is, and I'm off the next 4 days. I'm a hook up to my mini DSP, run room EQ, and then I'm gonna take some measurements. I'm gonna try to do a video on it.
Yeah.
To see how they perform. But I'm telling you, just by listen and feel, guys, they're performing well. They are really performing well.
You don't need tactile transducers.
I had a guy over here last Saturday, and he's a state trooper. He's local. He wanted to come by and see my system. He hadn't been in a while. And he sat down in the middle position. I put in replay one, and as soon as it started, he looked at me. He said, "You got butt kickers?" I said, "I do not." He said, "It feels like it." I said, "I know it does." So it's amazing that it's transitioned to that.
That's the 18s that are near field, brother. I get it all the time. Every time I have somebody in the room that knows about theater room, they're asking me if I have transducers, and after I tell them no,
Right.
they're like, "Well, you don't need transducers. You don't need transducers in your room, Chris. You get a couple
I thought
18s that close to some seats. You don't need any transducers, brother."
now I've got the 4 Chase Audio 18s behind the screen. I don't know when it's going to happen. I'm going to build another set of dual 18s. I've got to make them a little bit narrower. I'm going to make them a little bit taller to get, and a little bit wider. I get deeper to get the airspace that I need. They'll be sealed because all my subs are sealed. I don't have any, ported subs. So I'm gonna have 8 18s behind the screen. When I add those 2 separate double 18s, I've got to get another mini DSP, and I think Brandon told me I needed a mini DSP Flex, I think. Then I got to buy another amp. So, I mean, it's going to take a little while, but eventually I'm going to have 10 18s in here, and that's probably, unless I add anything right up to the back of the couch, that's probably going to be it. I don't think I'm going to need anything else with you.
So that's what I was just going to ask. If you're hitting 121 decibels at the main listening position right now, and
Right.
you add those, those 18s, if you're adding 4 more 18s, you're probably going to gain 6 dB, something like that. So, I mean, are you trying to even it out? Are you not satisfied with what you got?
I don't know. Okay, so I went to, and I'm going this weekend. I'm going to 2 of my friends' house. Matter of fact, if Michael is still in the chat, when I met Michael, we met this other guy too, Frankie. He's part of he's a subscriber to me. I think he's subscribed to probably everybody else too. He's just a great guy. Both of them live in the same area in Columbia, South Carolina. So I'm going to make some visits to their theater. Both of them has been here. But the one guy, I met him on Instagram, found out he was local. He came here. I went to his house. This guy, he builds his own boxes. He has a box that he built, a 6th order enclosure with 2 5/18s. And he's hitting 149 decibels at the port on that box.
Wow.
Now I think he said at listening position, he's hitting 135 decibels. Now that ain't all he got. He has
Why though? Why?
Chris,
y'all ain't heard all of it yet. He's got a captivator, a 4,000 captivator that Jeff delivered to his house personally. I don't remember when he bought it, but Jeff delivered it to him personally. He's also he just upgraded. He's got a hover boss that is, if y'all know what a hover boss is. He had 3 15 MTXs up under him. Now he's got the Scar. I think he's got the EVLs, maybe. I don't know. Up under on the hover boss, he had butt kickers. He had 2 JL Audio 12s. He had 2 Scar Audio 12s. His room, listen, he could put a candle in his window and blow the candle out. He's got that much pressure in his room. And once you hear that, it's like going to Scott Newby's house. I've never been to his house. I hear all about it. I see the videos. It would be like going to his house and then going back to your house and be like, doggone, man, what else do I need to do? That's the deal.
Those that don't know, Scott Newby was on the show a couple shows back. And he actually showed his. He's trying to. Well, he's already let the cat out of the bag. He's coming back with another JTR captivator. So he's going to have 18 18s in his room.
18 18s, and he's redoing his carpet. I saw that. Yeah, that's pretty awesome, man.
Yeah,
I mean that guy's freaking awesome, man. He's got. So
look,
I mean,
want to be able. I want to be able to watch a movie that I don't have to read subtitles. So
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
so you won't be able to read
that,
subtitles. Your eyes are going to be too blurry.
that I want to keep going back to, like, why. I just, like, so when you were talking about adding more behind the screen, it was like, okay, do you have nulls in the room? And I think there's two juxtaposed communities in the same home theater community. One is almost like the car audio side that a lot of us started on, myself included, of like, how many decibels can we get to? But then there's the other side of, like, I want to fill the nulls, and I want to make sure the sound is full, and I want to make sure everybody's having a similar experience. So where are we at when it comes to, I'm just going to add like 50 18-inch, 21-inch, 24, 20 stereo integrity
Right.
subwoofers
yeah,
and 100,000 watts. Is it really just two different communities, and it's really just going back to our roots of, I just want it to be as loud as it can possibly be. Like, screw my foundations. I just want it to be just obtrusive. Or is it actually looking at what sounds the best in my space?
Well, what I don't want to have any nulls, and I guess that's the thing. Right now, I don't feel like I have any. But the more subs you add, this is how I look at it, and this is what me and David see. David, that's his name, the guy that's got all the subs, and he has different size subs, so he's got them crossed over at different frequencies, so he don't miss anything. I mean, he catches it all. He catches the extreme low end, the higher ends, the upper higher ends, the mid bass. I mean, he catches it all. Now, I'm not looking to do that because I mean, I don't have the room for it. But the more subs you add, I feel like you don't have to push them as hard because you got more subs working to, fill the space and, pressurize the room and stuff like that. And if you need that extra it's there. So I feel like, and I've mentioned this on my channel, that Ready Player One is probably the most grueling demos out there. I mean, it pushes my theater to the limit. I feel like it does, and I love demoing that. And I've demoed it for people, and they don't really like it because they say it's not natural. Well, it's not. It's chaos. I mean, there's so much going on in every channel. I mean, low end, in the height speakers, surround speakers. I mean, it's chaos, but it is a extremely good demo. But I just feel like I want to catch. I want to have. I don't want to be lacking when there's something going on the screen. I don't want to be lacking.
You don't want to get caught lacking, Chris.
I don't want to be lacking. I ain't gonna be lacking.
and I feel that, Chris. And so the way I explain the Ready Player One demo, and I agree with you 100%. We've all seen it 100 times, right? I explain it, and to add to that, the JTR demo at the last M Wave. Props to Youth Man right there. The last M Wave, when JTR was there, I requested Ready Player One demo to hear it on their ridiculously amount of captivators they had there, just because we all know it so well. I wanted to hear it in that space, and it killed that space. It flexed that space. My point in asking my question was more about measurements, right? It was more about, you can throw subwoofers in a room. You can throw them everywhere. Cover yourself. That's great. So in my room, for instance, I had one PSA Power Sound Audio 18-inch subwoofer behind my row, and it shook the room. It was violent, and people were telling me back then I didn't need a transducer. But then I started doing measurements around the room and realized, well, not around the room, around the seats in the room, and realized I had a null on the far right side at about 180 hertz. So I did the measurements, and I realized I'm going to need a second sub, and that's when I added another 18-inch Power Sound Audio sub towards the front right in a cubby that's unnatural in my room. And I'm going to say it again, if Ike ever finished my room tour, you would see the cubby that I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
don't count on that because it's
My
going to be a long
internet is
time.
about to
Yeah,
go
I,
off
I
It
here.
is
think
gonna
I
be
I
done
think
before
Ike
that.
works on the same schedule for his video editing that Don does for his theater building.
Look,
He'll get
I
to it.
thought to myself the other day. I thought to myself the other day because both Ike and I have that Player One, the Arvolution. I thought to myself that he may get it out faster than me, but then I woke up and realized that that's not going to happen.
Do you
That
have
ain't
yours
happening.
out already?
So, but let me pull back and say, I
Do you
added
have
that
your
second
review
sub
out?
and it cleared the null in that far right seat. So my question was more about, are we throwing subs to get back to our roots, or are we throwing subs because we want to clear nulls? And if we're clearing nulls, are we doing measurements to make sure we're clearing those nulls and making sure they're in the right place? Because it feels to me like, honestly, it's just
Well,
we're
and there's
we're throwing DBs. We're
Well,
throwing DBs. Is
there's
what we're
nothing
doing.
wrong with that. I hear
100%
where you're coming
there's
from,
nothing.
and I preach that all the time because I don't like people that have endless amount of monies trying to tell everyone else that, oh, you don't know audio because you don't have $100,000 per speaker system, so you don't know what true stereo sounds like. It's like, whatever. You can buy you can compare it to a $2,000 pair of headphones and anechoically know what it's supposed to sound. There's all these ways, but as far as the DB, man, I used to do that whenever I was younger. I loved it, and it's a great hobby. It is really really fun, but it, it's addicting. You know, I'm no longer quite that way, you know, but I like my bass, but I'm not chasing the DBs because I know how difficult it is. Once you start getting into that, you know, this is back in the 80s, you know, I 140 in my car and I was like, "Oh man, this is amazing." Like, and I think the record at that time was like 150, but then literally the year after that, somebody with a huge sponsorship, this is like a $600,000 vehicle, hit like 180 decibels. I was like, oh, I'm out. I was like, there's no way I will ever have that much money. It's not even worth chasing at that point, but it's still fun. It's, you know, while you're doing it.
Yeah, and
And
just like Scott said, Scott Newby from living it with Cat, uh, Scott and Cat podcast. Um, he said that he's doing this for him. He's not doing it because he
yeah.
needs to do it.
And in
that
that case,
he's
yeah,
doing
and
it,
I love that. I
yeah, exactly.
appreciate that. You know, it's just like someone getting a wrap on their car or spending $30,000 on a paint job. It doesn't make the car any better, but you know, it's like, yeah, but it makes it mine. You know what I mean? So I'm all for.
And my only point in bringing up the comments that I did, I'm not hating. I
Yeah,
get it.
yeah.
We were all there, but my only point was to bring in potential theater room enthusiasts that are looking at what
Oh
they
yeah,
can
you don't
do.
have to have
You
140.
don't. Yeah,
Not even close. Yeah.
I've got two 18s, and that's probably overkill for my space, right? So I mean, so that was my only point in the comment. You want to get to 100 and 180 decibels? Holy crap, that's insane. I couldn't even imagine. 140 decibels, I couldn't imagine. I think I've gotten 124 in my space, so it's definitely overkill. So my only point in bringing all of that up was to say, if you're coming into this hobby, don't think that you have to spend $50,000, $100,000 to have a great sounding space. You just need to learn how to do a couple of measurements, and there's lots of communities out there that'll help you and will get you there. But holy cow, man, your space
Oh
is
yeah.
amazing,
You
Chris.
can have a extremely watchable and enjoyable theater without even worrying about sound pressure at all because most people, as a matter of fact, if you're entertaining this with family and friends, most people don't even care about the bass and all that. They care about the picture and if they can hear the dialogue. Hence the reason TVs sell more than home theaters, you know.
Yep.
So,
And
but
I'll go
nice.
back to Def Tech. I'll go back to Def Tech that we were talking about earlier in the stream. That's the reason I actually initially went with Def Tech, because Def Tech throws subwoofers into a lot of their speakers, left, right, some of their high.
I was
decent
into Def
and-
Tech when it was called Definitive Technology. I was
Yeah.
like, when I got back into this hobby, I was like, what's Def Tech? And then I realized, oh, that's Definitive. Like, oh, geez, they're old. I was like, that I used to have that.
So
At
Chris,
audio,
100%.
your theater for
honestly,
I want to get back to your theater because I got a question about, about the fabric, right? Because like I told you, I actually visited someone that installs this, an actual retailer that does this. And I understand that there's obviously an art to it, right? And that it's not just something that I like that blueberry slam. Yeah, but so I understand that there's an art to it. So I guess my question to you is, can you walk us through like how you did the doors to be able to hide the fabric track all around? Because when I saw the doors today, I was like, man, that looks really, really good.
well, it installs on the doors just the way it installs on the walls. Now on the doors, I actually had to drill pilot holes. For some reason, I couldn't put the nails in. It was bending the nails. I'm only using panel nails, like you would put up paneling with in a house. So I drilled pilot holes and then put them in. And of course, you got the little tool to cut your angles on, and then stretch the fabric on. It's on the doors, basically just like you put it on the walls. Now, I was going to do the little circle thing around the doors. I bought the Flex fabric mate. I don't know what you use that for, unless you're just going to do some nice little curves.
Yeah, some design
on the wall. You ain't doing those circles. Not around the door and not around the projector part. I totally had to. I took that piece of Flex and put it in the garage out there. I said, I don't know what I'm gonna use it for, but I can't use it for that. So I got a plan to fix that, and I'm gonna do it tomorrow. I didn't do it tonight or this afternoon, but I'm gonna fix that tomorrow. But on the doors, basically, of course, I pulled the door handle out, and I just kind of cut the little holes for the door handle and stuck it back in there. So, if you look at it close, you can see the fabric, going in, mashing into the door instead of setting out. But honestly, it don't look that bad. But that's how I had to do it.
Can you see the actual corner of the track, or does it fold over?
Well, you see now when you open the door, you can actually see the actual side of the track, but when it's closed, you can't see it. Now, I did see some videos. It looks like they took some fabric and tucked in there and wrapped it around. I'm not that picky. You know what I'm saying? But if somebody's installing it professionally, I could see them doing that, and that's what I was watching. I guess some professional guys putting it in.
So they tucked it into the back of the door along the top of the frame.
It looks like they
wrapped it around and they tucked it in the front. Yeah, it's extra work.
Yeah, exactly. It looks like they tucked it around the actual fabric mate. But I'm not that picky. I'm not going to do that. Because the door's closed, you ain't going to see it. And you ain't going to see it.
It's one of those things that you might notice it. No one else is ever going to notice it. And we probably all have those instances all over our room. But I hadn't thought about, so they're double tucking. So they're tucking the front of the door, they're tucking the back of the door, but then they're also wrapping around the door. So it's double wrapped.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. And see, I kind of, you can actually do this a different way. When I did my panels, and this is me because I didn't watch the videos good enough, I actually did double strips. So I got one panel tucked into a strip, and then there's another strip for the next panel up beside it, which I think I could have used one strip and tucked both of them in one strip. that is a mistake that I made, and that's why if you watch any of my videos, I'm showing, because my buddy John, he said some areas you can do that, some you can't. I don't know which ones you can or can't, but I can take a little small piece of fabric and tuck it in, so I'm hiding it with another piece of fabric. It still don't look as good if I would have used only one strip, but that's a learning curve, and I'm definitely not going to change it. I mean, I'll clean it up and make it look good, but I mean, it's a learning curve.
It already looks good, but I was just curious on that. For those of us that are thinking about DIYing it, because
don't follow my videos. Don't follow my videos on it, because I mean, you can, but learn what mistakes I've made, and definitely, you can check some other guys. There ain't a whole lot on YouTube about it, to be honest with you. There's not. There's not a whole lot on there.
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah, fabric tucking is. If I ever did the fabric tucking in my room, which I'll never do because it's expensive as hell, I would never do it myself, and that's the reason it's expensive as hell. It goes back to the same comment that I was making: is either lots and lots of hours of your own labor or lots and lots of money of somebody else's labor. Yeah. And I'm not trying to do that.
That's why I went to the velvet cottons. I thought about the fabric, and I looked at it. I watched a couple of videos. It's like, you know what? Velvet cottons are actually very cheap.
well, honestly, the velvet that I bought off Amazon, and I think it was around $10 a yard, and the DMD was only like $12.99 a yard. It was only just a few dollars more. So, and as far as ease of putting it up, honestly, I think the DMD fabric is the best way to go. I mean, it's a little bit more expensive, but it's a whole lot easier to put up than that velvet.
So those tracks come in different widths, right?
You can get different. Yes, you can get different. I think it's heights, and it may be widths. I went with the 1/4 inch. It's called 1/4 inch, but it says actual height is 3/8. Okay. And then I went with the black, because you can get it in a natural, which is like a tan or whatever, and then a black. Black, I think, is what mostly everybody would use, I would think.
Right. Yeah, I probably, because I think I shared what I'm leaning towards for my design, so I probably would actually get the tan ones, because I want to do some tan walls. So,
well, they got all different kinds of fabric, different colors, shades, and stuff, and it's really good stuff. And they have different textures, different colors and stuff. And of course, I went black because that's what I was going with. The look.
Right. Yeah, no, I mean, watching your progress on your theater, I'm really enjoying that. Are you getting out the M Wave this?
I'm not gonna be. Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to make it. I wish I could. I just can't. I've honestly spent so much money, and Michael made a comment on it earlier about my car, and I know y'all follow me on Facebook. I mean, I've spent so much money in that BMW and fixing it up and wrapping it and doing stuff and in my theater that I mean, I ain't no way I can make it out there. I wish I could.
Right. Hey, can you share the screen for me? Well, then give me control of the board again. I at least figured out how to do that.
We're not doing that tonight.
So, M-Wave, those of you that have not got your tickets for M-Wave yet, go ahead and use the promotion code HTH when you do purchase your tickets. Whatever proceeds come back to us for that is like an affiliate link. Whatever proceeds come back to us for that, we're going to purchase some speakers or something like that to give away on this live stream here. So, listen, I mean, there's some heavy hitters in this that are going to have some experience rooms here.
Sendo, JTR, RBH, SVS, some great brands there.
Yep.
Yeah. So, and then I know Michael actually announced this one today. I'm on his Facebook page.
Oh
man,
yeah.
that Christie, I saw it and I smiled, man. I was like, wow.
Yeah,
Some
I want to see this
IMAX
stuff.
I
IMAX
smiled when
kings
I
right
saw the
there.
Christie post.
They
man.
have
It's
all,
like,
you know,
damn.
Emily has always had a high end. They had the Sony, the 350. They had the Barco. They've had, and this will be the Christie. So, and that's a different genre. Like it really is. Like it's not going to have the black levels, but my God, they are bright and they are sharp.
Go to the M-Wave website and then click on the link for the brands. I think that will give you a list of everything. But I really want to see those swans too, right? There's the Ascendos or Ascendos or whatever.
Yeah, the Ascendo acoustics. Yeah, those are.
Yeah,
I
I
want to see
really,
those too.
I want to see the Ascendo. Are they actually going to have an Ascendo room, or are they just going to be
I
featured?
think so. Based
Yeah,
on Michael's post,
I believe so. I
Michael,
believe
do you want to
they're going to
confirm
have.
that?
There's a
I think
list
they
of
have
the
a
rooms
room.
there.
It's going to be in with the Storm, Christie, and the Seymour AV room 2212. If you want to get technical.
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
excited.
2 rooms.
Oh, they got
Two
2
rooms for
rooms.
Ascendo.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
You're gonna have to bring an extra big towel.
Well, they better finish Ryan's room then. I mean, if they're going to bring it there, they better finish Ryan's room. Michael, can you report in the chat how are we doing on Ryan's room? Do we have an update?
Moving
Because I want to
along
see
faster than
that.
Dawn's room.
Yeah, click on that Ascend link.
He seems to, according to the last show that I listened to, it don't seem to be a problem. At least that's what Ryan was saying.
Because that's going to be sick. That, I mean, his VIP is sold out, but oh my gosh, that guy's going to have some crazy.
So breaking
Click on the
news.
picture for the details. Yeah.
Breaking news: Ryan finished painting today. Wow.
Yes,
Nice.
I'm excited. I want to. I'm like Ryan is gonna get harassed at that room. That dude.
Oh,
he's
that
gonna have,
that is like a showpiece. That's a showpiece room. Everyone's gonna want to hear it, be in it, listen it, experience it.
Can I brag a little bit and just say that Build Montage may have some people going to see that room. I want to see if we can film it. I'm so excited. I get to see the room. I'm so excited.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to Jonathan's, and then I have a couple more. I wasn't able to contribute to be able to see Ryan's room.
Oh,
but,
I'm just gonna stand in front of his door and just keep knocking until he lets me.
I'm gonna film it.
Who's
It's gonna be amateur.
Who's the doorman in
hour.
there? I'm sure he's on the take, right?
I'm gonna be that knocking your door until you open the door.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, in this community, that is
Don't
what
make
it's
me
all
have to
about.
use the window. Just open the door, Ryan.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so there's definitely some heavy hitters here.
I'm sorry, I keep stepping on people. There's a delay here, but I'll film it. I'll send it to everybody. It's going to be amateur hour because Tony's not actually there for his professional filming, but I'm excited to see Ryan's room. That was selfishly why I was asking it was going to be done, so I'm stoked.
Yeah, so
trust me, everybody's going to be filming that room, man. It's going to be wild.
Yeah, Michael, one thing that I'd like that I don't see, and I don't think we had last year either, is maybe if you can reach out to some acoustics companies that may be able to display some of their panels or something like that. You know, it's a personal need for me, but I'm sure you may be able to, you know, draw some interest to those rooms too. So
nobody responded.
I think Michael has. I think they talked about it on the last show he did. They have reached out, I believe, and they haven't gotten any response yet. So
okay, perfect.
I'll be honest and say, like, man, in my experience, the panels, and I worked with a guy who had a PhD, and what he did was built studios. he told me himself, like, I just build the panels. They're so easy to build. If you can nail together a square, like a rectangular, it's just throw some mineral wool in there, throw some speaker grill fabric over the top of it, or whatever material you want. I mean, you Gick and the likes of that, and I am hoping not getting away of a sponsor, but well, they're so expensive. Like, you could just build a panel for $20.
Well, you say that assuming you have all the
Tools.
Tools
skills
to
and
do
the
it, right?
tools. That's the thing that people, because I'm not an expert, but my dad was a contractor, so he, general contractor, so I was forced to be very familiar with all woodworking tools and, doing everything, as well as building my own car engine get my first car. But anyways, it is cheap if you have everything, cheaper, but the problem you run into is when you start doing your own stuff and you can make it however you want. There's a thing that we call in the industry scope creep. You're like, oh, I could make it like this. Oh, I need to get this pattern. Oh, I want it to be this size. Oh, I want to do this, but let's just say you didn't do that. It's still a lot of time. If you mess up, that's going to cost you. And it's not, some people, don't have the patience or it's like doing like a Rubik's cube. Some things you just have to understand how they go together, how to get the same cut every time, how to, you do a block stop for cutting the same size wood. You do you got to know how to cut the fabric to get it to where when you fold it, it doesn't bunch up and it looks razor sharp whenever you're stapling it. You got to have really strong wrists to put in 1,400 staples in sound. There's so
No,
many
I get it.
things.
No, I get it. No, I get it. But then that comes to placement, right? And
Yeah.
there's lots and lots of information about first and second reflection points, and this is left and right of your room. It's also the ceiling of your room for cloud panels. And
Yes.
that's gonna be the basics. And then if you want to get deeper than that, you're gonna have to get an acoustician. And we're talking about money anyway, and we're not talking about building your own acoustic panels at that point any longer, right? Because you don't care if you can afford an acoustician.
Yep.
So it's really just building 3 feet, 4 feet by 2 feet panels that cover your first and second reflection points, your first and second reflection points for the ceiling, and if you want to go above and beyond, according to the studio guy, you're going to have a couple of cloud panels just above your LCR, which what I put in place, but you can do the basics, and it's inexpensive, and the information as far as where to put the first and second reflection points is all over the internet. You use a mirror, we all know it. It's not difficult, and you can build, and just like Michael was saying in the chat, you can save a ton of money by doing that. And I get it, but I get as far as the skill point is concerned, but you can make an inexact 4x2 panel that you just screwed a rectangular design of wood together. And I mean, you have to have basic woodworking parts. I get that. But if you so let's say you're going to build 8 acoustic panels, right? Two to the left, 2 to the right, two up top left, 2 up top right. And you were going to build it, you're going to save the money over some basic woodworking tools to build your own acoustic panels over buying acoustic panels that cost $200 plus a piece, right? So,
Oh, well,
anyways,
you're talking 200, but where
Yeah,
are
those
you
are
buying
expensive.
$200 a piece, man? They're only like $50 a piece.
no, that we're talking
If
about
that.
Gick. I mean, isn't GIC a couple $100 for an acoustic panel?
No.
No.
They got some really expensive ones though.
They have some super expensive ones, but you can get them way cheaper than that. Yeah, I mean,
Etsy is actually a good place. You can go to Etsy, and there's people that make acoustic panels for fairly cheap that are actually decent too.
Yeah.
So I would recommend that. If you
That's
don't have the
that's a good way to
skills,
do it.
yeah. If you don't have the money to do it to or money or tools or skills or whatever to do it yourself, go to Etsy. I mean, they make some good stuff. Just make sure they're using mineral wool of some sort that's decent quality. That's good stuff too. I'm with you.
acoustic panels are
Yeah.
$42 a pop, starting for 2-inch panels.
From who?
GIK.
GIK Acoustics.
For like what? 12 by 12 inches?
I don't know.
Well, no, but keep in mind
24 by 24
when they're saying
square is $42 a piece.
But that's also 2 inches thick as opposed to the 4-inch thick that you can get.
Yeah, it depends on what frequencies you're trying to handle and where you're putting it.
You can get your 5 1/4 inch for $70 a piece.
I'm telling you, the ones that I've built for my room, and I did buy some. I have GIC panels in my room. Don't get me wrong, but if you want a legit 4x2 panel with 4-inch thick mineral wool, you're talking about a couple $100.
Yeah,
it really
it's about $100, I think. I mean, if you already have the tool, right, and it's
if you're doing with their diffusion and stuff like that, then yeah, I could see that, but I don't see anything for a couple $100 on here for that.
I think you're catching. Honestly, I think you're catching me lying. I think Ike is right. I think they're like $100 a piece.
Yeah.
But even still, if you can make it for $20,
yeah, fair enough. But it's one of those things where, you're, it depends on how much your time.
Just don't pay hundreds or $200, $500 for those things, right? If you can make them, if you already have the tools, and like
or
Michael
buying them from someone who can make them.
If you already have the tools, I think Michael, you could probably
check on Facebook Marketplace, man. You find people.
You'll find somebody who can do them. Just if you're gonna do those basic thickness panels, fabric wrap that's just basically a shadow box with fabric and stuffing in it, get those DIY. But if you want something that's decorated, is diffusion based, it's been measured for certain frequencies, and you're using it for like a higher level purpose, then maybe approach companies to have one of those specific panels done. But the basic stuff, get somebody to build it or try to do it yourself.
Yeah, and then like someone said in the chat, then you got to ship it, and the shipping costs like 2 panels. It's
like, Jesus. Yeah. Okay. Well,
and then pray that it arrives in shape.
Yeah.
Well, the last time I did the math, by the time you buy the tools and all the equipment, and I was doing 2x4 4-inch panels, and of course the prices may have increased from the time that I did. It took 10 panels to break even. So I could have bought GIK, but I was able to customize all mine to fit like my windows and all this extra stuff. And mine are, really sturdy. I have center frames. I have all kinds of extra stuff on mine as well, but I didn't account for that. I didn't add that to my price. But for the time that you spend doing all that stuff, that's, I counted, minimum wage salary for the amount of time you're going to spend doing it.
Dude, just sit in your garage one Saturday morning and do one, and then the next Friday.
Yeah, no, absolutely. If time is not a thing, and because you can get really inexpensive woodworking tools to do it. Yeah, if you wanted to do it as cheap as possible to get it done. Yeah. DIY is always the answer for everything, but people forget, even people that are on the cheap, it's like you're going to spend
time or money.
It's time or money, and you're going to spend money on, $100 minimum on tools. Minimum.
Yeah, but then you own the tools,
And
right?
that
And
you're
the tools
only
will come in handy. The tools can
maybe
fix anything else.
I'm sorry I did this. I think I did this. I think I did this. I apologize. I want to so badly show you all the movie poster acoustic panels that I made. Like, I mean, it goes back to time or money. It's all time or money. I mean, if you
Well,
don't have
yeah,
the
no,
time
I'm
and
a
you have the money,
DIYer.
just spend it.
I'm all DIY all the time, just because even if it costs me more money, I'm learning something. So that's why I do it.
DIY your panels.
Mhm.
I just here's the thing is, like, with my experience in helping people with their home theater builds, and I've easily done hundreds of them at this point through Build Montage. Acoustic panels is and I think you could tell with my friction on this conversation, that's my biggest challenge, is these acoustic panels. Like, we all know where the basic acoustic panels go. Acoustic panels are so easy to make, and these companies that are charging $100 plus for an acoustic panel, let alone the movie theater acoustic panels that Ike, come on, man, show them my acoustic panels. the movie theater. I'm just gonna keep going, dude. I'm gonna keep doing it.
You must have got upcharged or something, because I'm like, man, I don't know where you were buying yours, but they must have saw you coming. Like, oh, this guy's got some money.
No, I'm gonna show you. So I'm gonna show you a couple of them because I'm just gonna do it. So Avengers. See the Avengers acoustic panel? That acoustic panel from a company I was looking at was over $500. The other Avengers one, that was $1,000.
Well,
I made these for $30.
Is different. The reason
Where did you get them printed, and what did you get them printed on?
Yeah,
I got them on acoustically transparent cotton.
Yeah.
There's a difference between licensed products and homemade products, and
these are all fan made. All the art on these.
Yeah, that's why they don't cost like $500.
Yeah, that $900 was licensing.
But that's my point. Is
no,
like,
something cool I'm
like
talking
that,
plain panels. I'm not talking art panels. Yeah, in that
well,
case,
yeah,
even the movies the posters are from don't even cost that much for the 4K Blu-ray disc.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I have even just grill, and I was about to show you the cloud panels because they're just speaker grill material, but those were still extremely cheap to make too. My only point, and this is why I've got friction with the acoustic panels, is that one is so crazy inflated. Like acoustic panels are so crazy inflated. If there's a 1% population of us that are gonna get an acoustician to come into our room, measure it, tell us exactly what needs to happen. GIC and other companies have free consultations that'll tell you, this is my opinion, with basic measurements and not really knowing your room, being in the room, physically measuring the room, and telling you exactly what needs to happen. If you're not paying for an acoustician, you're not getting that. And so what you're doing is, if you're buying these acoustic panels, you're buying a huge markup. And you could easily just go out there. I'm going to drop Two Guys Tech has a video where he lines up every single step of what you need to do, down to the software, the settings in that software that you need to do to build exactly the same thing that I've got in my room. All you have to do is find a company that'll print it out for you, and they're not copyrighted, and you're going to save thousands of dollars over what I did in my room. And that's why I've got such a huge issue. And this is why you're hearing me being spirited right now, because it is.
If you're talking licensed versus unlicensed,
it's licensed artwork.
Absolutely. I have
I would put
Yeah.
like AI kittens on my
I'm
panels. Like it
talking
wouldn't cost me a
black
dime.
versus black fabric, not any. I'm talking just acoustic panels for a better audio experience, not.
But Paul, I hit that too. Like my cloud panels are black with speaker grill
Yeah.
material on it. Etsy wanted $100 per speaker grill with two. It was 4 feet by 2 feet, with 2 inch thick or 2.5 inch thick insulation, mineral wool insulation in there, and they wanted that much money, and I was able to do it for like a fifth of the price. But again, I mean, we're taking into the account that yes, you have to buy some basic tools. But even once, if you're talking about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I've got more than that, but the very basic that you're going to need for a decent theater room acoustics is going to be 8, 4 on the ceiling, 2 on each wall, right?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead. So that's $800 from Gick or another like kind of company.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry if we're taking us off the rails,
Oh,
guys.
no problem. Hey, man, this is what it's all about. We're having fun. So versus
So we're talking about
$100. So how
$800.
many? So do you know how much you bought in wood? How
I
much you
do.
bought in fabric?
I spent $20 to $30 per panel, and that's even with the and this is pre the graphics, the posters.
Yeah.
This was pre-COVID. So this is when there was a company that's in business has since gone out of business. I spent $30 per movie poster on those panels. The straight blanks that are in the ceiling that are
So
just
you
black
got
with speaker
your
grill, it
rock
was $20.
wool. You got your rock wool and all your wood and all your nails for $20.
$20 for the ceiling, $30 for the movie posters, because it was extra money to have them printed out for the movie posters.
Yeah. Where are you
Yeah,
getting
and
your
I
wood?
did print from my fabric design too. It's unfortunate they closed down.
Yes.
But
Yes.
at the end of the day, right, I think it's one of those things where if you are DIY and you DIY the home theater, you will probably have some. I have rock wool sitting in my garage, right?
Yes.
Right.
I have 2x4s all over the damn place, nails and everything. So
Mm-hmm.
at that point, it takes me about an hour to put
So
that stuff together, and while
here's the way
chasing
that
my
I view
2-year
that.
old daughter around. So it's like, yeah, I mean,
Here's the way
It's
that I
money
view
versus
it to
time.
save
Money
money,
versus
right?
time.
If you're gonna, if you have the tools, if you've already spent the money on the tools that it's gonna take to build this stuff, then you're gonna save the money. But if you got to go buy a chop saw, if you got to go buy, clamps, you got to go buy a brag nailer, whatever, to hold them in place, all that stuff, then
Correct.
that's when it's going to start costing you the money.
It was
you
still
don't
cheaper.
even need all that to build acoustic panels. But you nail a hammer, the saw
Yeah,
to cut the wood,
you
or you can
can
go
if
to
you
Home
want.
Depot, give them the measurement, they will cut it right there for you. And you go
The
home with your
tools
nail and your hammer, and you hammer that thing
I
together. And
I
staples.
I
That's
had
all you
no
need.
And it should have been
I
looking
had
like
no
this.
tools. No, I had no
Really?
tools. I got a leveler, I got an edge, I got a saw, dude, it cost me $200 in tools. I still saved tons of money. That's why I'm this
Well,
one
yeah.
subject.
Once you
I'm
get to a certain amount of panels,
Right.
for sure, even if you're making mistakes, you're going to save money.
Just
Yeah,
have
and
Home
that's why
Depot.
that's why
Have Home
I
Depot or
do it,
Lowe's
right?
just cut the size for you. Go out there,
Yeah.
tell them you want this
Yeah.
length, this width. They will cut it for you. Well,
Yeah, I
They'll
guess
make
I
a
guess
couple.
I'm just more
They will make
interested
a couple cuts. They will not cut
I think it's
18
I think it's a
panels
low.
worth of stuff for you.
I think this is a
I
lower
can
end
tell you that
conversation.
right now.
To me,
so
this
So
is
I
like
guess
the
I'm a
I
little
whole.
bit more
I
intricate
I
when I build stuff. I'm doing like
Yeah.
pocket uh, screws and everything else like that.
I did that, Don. I got the Craig set.
Uh-huh.
Oh my gosh, I'm never gonna get invited back to this
I,
channel
I, I
again.
guess no.
I
I
love you
love this
guys. Thanks for
conversation.
having me.
Here's what I will say. Okay, you can absolutely do it cheaper, but that's assuming you know how to work with power tools, what will be the cost if you accidentally cut off a finger?
Yep.
Is that worth $100 a panel to you, buddy?
It depends what finger are we talking
I
about?
I'm just saying there's
Right,
different
Dad?
people in the
I
world.
think-
Yes, I myself am a DIYer,
All right,
and
so
I DIY'd all my panels. But I would not say, oh my God, it's $100 versus, $30 or $20 or whatever you did. Yeah, that's a big markup. That is a huge markup.
I
But
think okay. So I think in conclusion, the bottom line is don't get ripped off. You know,
yeah.
don't-
wait,
I
wait,
think
wait.
This is like the whole Kaleidoscape versus ripping your disc type conversation.
It is. It
Don't get ripped
absolutely
off just
is.
because.
And
I don't
If you
want
can afford
conclusion.
it,
Wait,
pay
hold
for
on.
If you can afford it, pay for it. But don't
I
pay
love
for
it. I love it.
Don't pay
I'm
$500
arguing.
for it.
I'm not done.
You know
Eric,
what the
I'm
funny
with
part
you.
is?
Look, I'm still doing my own drywall. So
I'm arguing that it's okay to buy GIK, and I don't own a
He
single
doesn't
GIK.
even, he built all of his. So I'm like, I don't know.
I'm gonna do it one more time and just say, you go to GIK, you're not gonna have that beautiful.
That's
shit.
true. That is absolutely true. That hands down. You're 100% right on that.
Yeah, but you could
But-
buy a poster
but-
and just put it over top.
But if
So-
you pay me $500, I will build it and I will ship it to you for free.
if
Yeah, I
you build
think-
it, it will come.
No questions
This is all
asked.
inspiring me to start building panels to my local
Yeah,
area.
I
Shit,
will
I bought
build
all
it
those
for
tools for
you.
myself, so I'm just going to start building for my buddies.
$500 shipping included.
Yeah, I'll
If
get
you
all my
leave
money
within-
back by next
If you
week.
leave within 8 hours drive, I would personally deliver it to you.
all I
The
need,
gas
is,
don't cost that much driving 8 hours. I will drive 8 hours and drop it off at your house.
I just
So,
need
Chris,
youth
it's
band
For
some-
500.
video of my panels, so that way I can sell 1 million of them, and I can stop being an IT consulting manager, and we're done.
Hey,
Dude.
for $500 a
You
piece,
just recently wrapped your panels, right? What you wrapped them in the fabric, right?
Yeah, I did all the wrapping, stapling, but so I will say, Paul has a point, because I did end up spending $500 on tools, but it was only
Oh,
because
just went from
I
2 to 5.
Huh?
I know. Dude, I told you.
No,
it's
you
so
could do it.
free.
No, you could
So
do it.
free.
You could legit.
Happens,
You could legit.
man. That's
You could legit do it for a couple $100 in tools. You could
yeah,
legit
you
do it
could.
for a couple $100.
Absolutely.
But I am lazy, so I bought an electric stapler, and all the kind of BS that goes with it. And I spent about $500 in tools, and I probably could have gone to GIK. But again, I would not have had these beautiful.
Yeah, once you're showing the specific
print,
art
yeah.
and stuff like that, yeah, oh yeah, hands down. If you're gonna wrap your own, then you definitely are gonna want to at least buy the GIK and then re-wrap over it. Because you can actually buy, I don't know if people even know this, you can buy GIK panels that you have to staple the fabric.
Right.
Yeah, they sell all the DIY.
And
They
that,
sell all
yeah,
their own
so,
DIY.
but yeah, no, like I said, I'm just being other side of the coin. I'm all DIY all the time because I like
Right.
learning stuff. That's what I do.
So
And
Chris
I've
just recently wrapped your panels, right?
I
Chris.
Yes.
Chris, you just recently wrapped your panels. What did you use to wrap them? Was it a stapler or how
No,
did you?
no. Now, in my first theater, I've been sitting here listening to everybody, but in my first theater, I actually built
I
my
wanted to
panels.
get you involved.
In my first theater, I built my panels. I used the 1x4s, and I had the rock wall, and installation. Then I wrapped them in fabric. I had 2x4. I think I had 5 of them, and then I built some 2x2s and done them on a diamond in the back. If you look at my older videos, you'll see them in there. Now, fast forward to this theater, I actually used the 2x4s in behind my screen. When I lifted my screen behind the speakers on the wall, I actually have my, acoustic panels behind the speakers. I have the foam, to fill up the rest of it, for just acoustic, so it don't, vibrate and stuff. But in the theater, I bought the toning panels. I think they're 12-inch by 36-inch. I think they were around $160, $170 a piece. Now, I'm a real big Van Halen fan, and the patterns look like Eddie Van Halen's guitar with the crazy patterns, but they were black and white. And I loved it. A lot of people commented on them. They liked them. Matter of fact, Haterade Cowboy just posted a video, and I think he bought some of the same panels, and he said he saw them on my channel. He bought some. And he said he was going to cover them because of reflections. And I said, that's exactly why I covered mine. I did not have to do anything. The frames of those are aluminum, and they have the fabric. I don't know how they did the fabric on there. So what I did is just laid the panels down, cut my fabric, folded it over, and actually tucked it in. It's not glued. It's not stapled. I can actually pull the fabric off if I want to. It's just folded in such a way. I mean, to me, it don't look bad. And I mean, I could probably take a video out there and y'all look at it, and it might look.
We couldn't even tell.
Look, I know. I mean, but it's just folded in, and I could walk out there and grab one corner and pull it off, and I still kept the integrity of the panel, because I mean, I paid around $170, $180 per pair for them. But they're nice panels, and I don't feel bad about what I spent. And I know I know you guys saw all the panels I got. I think I got 8 or so on the floor. I don't have any on the ceiling yet, and that's my next thing. In my last video, I mentioned that I'm gonna be doing some treatment on the ceiling. I hadn't done anything on the ceiling yet, but that's coming. But I
want to do ceiling treatments also too. So
I'm actually thinking about doing the fabric mate. That's what I mentioned in my video. I'm thinking about putting tracks up there, just putting the fabric up there, and I may even put the backing in there, like we was mentioned earlier. I may end up putting some backing in there for that, but I'm not sure yet.
Yeah, I was thinking the same, and put a board up there. Because that way it's a little bit more rigid. You can actually screw it to the ceiling or something like that. Just use a regular drywall screw, put it in there, and then you can cover it with your and you can actually just stage that wherever you want to. And if it doesn't sound right, okay, you take it back down, right? So you can add some diffusion or whatever else, and then cover it. I did speak to Anthony Germani a while ago about putting diffusion up there and then cover it with fabric, and he said when you do that, it then turns into absorption. So just in case you decide that you want to put diffusion up there, don't cover it. Is what I was told.
I had a really long conversation with a number of different industry people at the show recently about using diffusion instead of absorption in certain capacities, because I've been reading in the chat, Youthman's been saying, like, when it comes to like your first second reflection points and using absorption, I mean, it's pretty obvious where they would go. And yes, it makes a difference in the room. Where it gets complicated is, are we measuring for which frequencies the panels are handling? And is it even, or is it making additional problems? Because if you're not doing the density of material, there are locations for which frequencies it's hitting. Is it causing other like mid-range frequency dropouts? And absorption actually pulls energy out of your room. So diffusion doesn't pull energy out. It just scatters it. So this conversation I had with these professionals were saying that if you want the most out of your system, it's like adding really loud speakers with high sensitivity and dynamics, and then adding absorption on the wall. Next thing you know, the energy of your speakers is sucked out. So it's like, well, why did you buy high energy speakers if you're just taking it out of the room anyways? It's kind of like, it really is a bit of energy. So
Well,
doing diffusion and having the right data ahead of time is going to save you all of that struggle, and it will be better balanced at the end.
It's the
now,
data though. That's what we're not discussing, and what I mentioned. So first and second reflection points are pretty widely accepted in our industry, or in our hobby rather. You get past that, now you're looking, if you want to do it right and you're going to put that money into it, you really, and I'm going to say it again, you're going to need an acoustician, because otherwise you're just guessing. We're
Yeah.
all guessing in the first place. We're making educated decisions or educated guesses based off of
but that's the
first and
thing.
section.
That's where it gets tricky. Okay, and this is where I loosely stand. So you're right. Unless someone actually comes out and measures and designs a room very specific. But what a lot of the industry is not telling you, a lot of this science, just like a lot of things in this industry that have spoken, are not applicable in your standard 20 by 20 room. Most of that stuff where you're talking about diffusion versus absorption and stuff like that are in great halls, because you don't want to kill the sound. You want the 50th row to have just as good as experience as the fifth row. That's where that really matters. In reality, in a home theater, if you cover 30% of your room with absorption, you're 99% there, as good as you're going to get in a room 20 by 20. But
And that's
if you're
what I've
talking a
found in a
great
lot of
hall, if you're talking an amphitheater, that's where all that science holds true. But guess what? You can't say that to someone that's willing to spend $1,000. Now, acoustic panels look way better than absorption, always. Well, unless you like printed fabric and that's what you want to do. But acoustic, dispersion always gives you three-dimensional objects, which always looks better in the mind in an artistic way. So to me, it always looks cool to do that. Way better. It's way more amazing. Now, how much more effective it is, ain't nobody going to show you measurements in a standard home, not these 25 or not even 25, but these 50-foot rooms that long. In a standard 10 by 10 room, nobody's going to show you these measurements. Ain't nobody.
I can name two right now that I talked to over the weekend, but okay.
No, they'll do the measurements if you're willing to pay for it.
No. I'm just saying, if they've done that, then we should see those. It wouldn't be an argument. Let's see their data.
Yeah,
they should have links.
But the problem is, it's going to be different for every 10 by 10, 20 by 10, whatever.
Oh,
every
yeah.
room is going to be
every
100%.
room needs its own set of data points. Absolutely.
Yep.
And that's the thing, is like, who's spending 5 figures to have an acoustic?
Well, that's my point. They won't do that because no one in a 10 by 10 room spending 5 figures on a 10 by, well, generally not.
So I actually reached out to Matthew Pose when I first started on my theater, and he's well known, right? So he's well known in the YouTube space and everything else. He actually helps Anthony Gamani, and honestly, I don't know what he's charging now, but it was fairly inexpensive for him to go ahead and design something for my room for me. I say inexpensive, but you guys are talking 5 figures. I mean, I honestly, this was a couple years ago, I think I paid him like $500-600 to draw it up for me. And then to come to my house, now he lives in Florida, so it's not that far, but he quoted me something like $1,100-1,200 to come to my house and just, measure everything out. So yes, that's a lot of money, right? I'm not saying it's not, but
relatively inexpensive compared to what.
Yeah,
correct.
That's crazy. I would do that.
Dimes on the dollars compared to. So
no, I don't know what his
might be underselling him. Maybe he did you a favor.
No. I mean, he said that, that's on other channels before, about the going rate for stuff. Now, obviously, he don't have to stay overnight at my place. He don't have to fly. He don't have to, do all kind of stuff like that. So because I live in Florida, I'm only like 2-3 hours away from him. So it's so his price. That's why I preface it first. I don't know what his pricing is now, but that's basically, I didn't know him from Adam, so I didn't get a Horizon home theater discount or anything like that. He
Yeah,
didn't
but
know me. I
but
didn't
but
know him.
that's just for the measurement, right? Because even after the measurement is done, a professional like him is still going to recommend that you buy specific or certain
Correct.
types of materials and acoustic whatever, right?
Mhm.
And those are not going to be your $40.
No.
So at the end of the day, it's still an expensive process.
Yeah,
The
and this is
design
when I
fee
first.
might be minimal, but I guarantee you he's not going to come recommend some $30 panels from GIK for a room of your style after
No,
taking
no.
those measurements.
Well, and here's the thing, like this is when I first got started on this, and yes, I had some research, but not in the panels and everything else. But he was sending me links of panels that were like for bass traps that were like aluminum, like the whole front of the panel was aluminum, and I'm like, how is that going to work, right? And I'm thinking, and then once you learn more and more that, hey, that bass wave is going to pass right through that aluminum, you know. So, but yeah, it's so you learn more and more. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely interesting, But
And
we're
that's my whole point, Don, is that acoustics it's a rabbit hole, man.
yep.
It is. There is so much, and there's more psychoacoustics than actual, you know,
Yes.
just
I mean, if you get,
legit.
in my opinion, you get to the point where you're doing a clap test and you're not hearing echoes, but it's not 100% dead. Again, this is one man's opinion. You're in a good place. And in a smaller room, acoustic panels tend to do that. There is a place for dispersion, and I agree with Paul in saying I think I think that difference is a larger space, because I've been in a lot of rooms and pure absorption seems to do a really good job in making that sound really, really crisp. But I've done the opposite of what the base of my job is as a PM, and I've redirected this this conversation for over an hour now into acoustic panels. So, Don, what we got coming, brother? We good?
Yeah, no, I mean, look, this is what this is all about, right? I want people to jump in here, jump out of here, come in, show their theater updates, do, talk about whatever you guys want. There's no true format here other than we just like to have a guest that would you do a home theater tour, right? If we can every single week and thank you very much, Chris, for joining us again. We definitely appreciate you sharing your theater again with us, because I've been watching you, and like I said, once I seen all the updates, I was like, hey, let's get Chris back on here because he's got some very interesting stuff, especially to the DIYers out there that are building subs and doing their own fabric and doing everything else. And I like the fact that you're actually reviewing movies, which that's the whole point of our home theater, right? Isn't that what we're supposed to be watching? Content in our theaters. So
Yep.
if you guys haven't gone to my home theater on YouTube, make sure you go over there and subscribe. If you would like to be a guest on the show, please make sure you send us an email to what is it? Home Theater Hub Live at gmail.com. Right, Ike? I
Yes,
might get that
sir.
right
You
after
got you got it
22
right. You got it right.
episodes. So also Kanga stepped away, but Siphonics Audio, make sure you check his channel out on Instagram and everything. He's doing some really, really good things with photographs and articles and everything else like that.
Yeah, I'm
But
excited. I'm excited for Kanga, and his future endeavors. I think it's going to be fun. I hope he's, as long as he's having a good time, I'm sure he's, you know, gonna love it. And what I missed his some of his opportunities that he was running into earlier. What were
Yeah, so
those, Kanga, that you had that some of the opportunities that you said you were running into earlier?
Thank you. Yeah, sorry. I had that was a really weird moment. Ike's the only one that knows what happened. Anyways, thank you guys. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's been a long sort of focused road from a number of things that happened. I'm not going to rehash stories, but I'm just grateful beyond words that doors have opened and allowed me to bring interesting things to more people, because that's really like I feel like maybe I'm doing it for myself, but I'm only rewarded when other people are excited about what I can do. It's not just for me in this sense. It's really about how much more excited it makes other people, or how the education helps someone or the inspiration helps someone else.
Yeah,
It
that's
really
all.
isn't just about what I'm doing.
So you're enjoying what you're doing, and people are enjoying your productivity or your piece of it, and that's a great place to be. No matter what you
Yeah.
do.
Oh, well, for the most part, because of course there's going to be people who are either misconstruing things, or they're not really
Yeah,
sure what's going on, and they may have a perspective that's not either accurate, or just they're not sure what they're looking at, so the feedback is not on par, let's say. But I mean, for the majority, I'm encouraged more by people in the industry. I mean, I'm talking about designers, owners, brand owners, the reps, the people that are like behind the industry, not so much end user or consumer level or that kind of thing. I'm embraced by the people who are designing and building it, rather than those that are buying and using it. So that's a whole other world, and I'm
yeah,
extremely grateful for
whole
that.
different world. Yep.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
yeah,
That's
that's
awesome.
very
I'm
good. Yeah,
happy for
and
you,
then
man.
and
That's good.
you said it's like 90% that you're going to be living amongst the humans instead of the vampires again.
Nah, but he'll
Yeah,
still have this
ni-
vampire room.
yeah, my 95% sure that I'll be joining day shift. So if my skin looks a little ashy, and I've been in the sun too long.
Well,
That's
look,
funny.
definitely appreciate everyone joining this evening. We're at with technical difficulties, we're at 3 hours for this evening. So thank you all the audience that held on and was patient with me operating a board with an inferior product to Ike's computer over there. So, but yeah, thank you everyone. Definitely appreciate it. We will see you next week. Next week, I think who do we got next week?
I gotta check. I don't even remember.
I think it's Mr. Giles next week.
Yeah, I think we got Giles coming on next
Got
week.
Mr. Giles giving his theater tour. So tune in. Make sure you guys tune in next week. Anyone on the panel wants to join, Ike has room for up to 10. So please feel free to join. Who knows? Maybe I'll even practice some and over the
Yeah,
weekend and
trust
figure
me,
this
we'll
thing
be
out.
holding some training sessions.
I'll help you practice. I'm down for it. Anything that helps.
Oh,
Once again, if you'd like to be a guest on the show, please send us an email to HTH. What is it
home,
like?
home
HTH Home
theater
Theater
hub
Hub.
live.
Home Theater Hub Live at Google, email.
I
All
don't
my,
know my own channel. I don't know how to
I
run the
don't know.
board. Whatever.
Hey
Some
man, I've been up since
YouTube.
4:30 this morning, so I'm tired. I apologize.
Oh man!
But
I
yeah,
love it.
But
I
thank you
love it.
guys for watching. We'll see you guys next week, same time on the Home Theater Hub. Bye.
Cheers.
Bye.